MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night. That means we've got a debate. Now, tonight, I am hosting a debate between Jiffycones and Marisa. And we've got both of them here. Jiffy has had some problems getting his video working, so it's just his avatar, and we've got Marisa on screen here. Welcome, people.
Hi.
Hello.
All right. Well, now if you have been around a little bit here, you will have met Marisa already that way. And Jiffycones is in the live chat a bit, so should be a familiar name. Why don't you introduce yourself? I don't care who goes first.
Oh, Mikey can go first.
Oh yeah, I'm Jiffycones. You can call me Michael if you want, or Mikey, Mike, Nick, whatever you want. And in short, I'm a janitor for work, and for fun, I program. Mainly make my own games. And that's pretty much it.
All right.
And I'm sure you guys know me from last time. My name is Marisa Keeland, and I'm not doing this for anyone else but myself. I'm building my own model. I'm building it from scratch, really, because I like to look at it as like I'm building a model. Like I order, like, or go to Hobby Lobby and I order a model, and I'm gluing it together, right? Like I'm putting all the pieces together. So when I get finished, I want a model that every observation you have outside is in that model. If it's not in the model, then it's not a model. Like I want the Ferrari. I want a model that matches outside. That is my goal.
All right. Well, I will, for the most part, not be involved while you two talk, and then after a while, we'll see what we bring. And if you need, you can share your screen. I will prepare the scene for you. Should you want to share your screen? So go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask him first. You asked me to come on this show, so what is your goal? Like, what are you expecting to achieve out of this? Like, my whole goal when I first came on the first time was to get people to change their mind. So what is your goal? Like, what are you hoping to achieve?
Well, in short, I want to get specific answers about flat Earth, specifically a flat Earth model, like your model that you're making, like how big the sun is, how far away, that kind of thing. Like just basic questions and basic answers.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so I do have a presentation. I'll share my screen and load it up. Okay. So this will also answer some of the questions you had. You shared them via email, and I did my due diligence to answer the ones that were, actually relevant. Like I'm sure the ones you had for MC Toon don't apply to me. Like censoring your comments on his channel, that wasn't me. So
Yeah, I know. I'll go through those with him later since he avoided them when I paid him.
yeah, you two can hash that out, like if it's a real issue. But some of the questions you had were actually pretty simple to answer.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked him those.
So are you seeing my screen?
I
Yes.
see round versus flat.
Okay, good. All right, round versus flat, or why you should learn to stop arguing and love the globe Earth. Part 1, answering some questions.
Okay.
One of the first questions you gave me was, can we divide by 0?
Oh, McTooney's gonna do your questions for you.
Great.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
As you can see on screen, it says, in short, no. For example, if you have 3 pencils and try to divide them into 0 equal groups, how many pencils are each of those 0 groups? Or how many times does 0 go into 3? There's not really an answer because
Right, because you can't divide by 0. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's impossible to divide by 0. Are infinite limits possible? Technically, yes. And they're used in advanced mathematics like calculus. And I do have links for all these answers.
Wait right there. So if you're calculating infinite limits, and your numerator must get infinitely larger while your denominator gets infinitely smaller. Eventually you have to divide by 0. So how is technically yes an answer?
Well, further in the answer, it says like infinity, or an infinite limit is like infinity is an abstract concept, even though it is mathematically useful. Like no experiment that we can find or has ever been made has resulted in a infinite result.
Well, this is why time and infinite limits are important, because time doesn't stop. It's an infinite limit, right? So if you eventually have to divide by 0, then time must have a distinct beginning. And we calculate time based on observations of existence. Like for we observe the sun is visible a duration of time, and then it is not visible a duration of time. We calculate those into day and nights. That's 1 tick for day, 1 tick for night. Then we calculate those intervals up into, equally distant ticks, like tick, 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 that's a minute, tick, 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 that's an hour, tick, 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 that's a year. You understand what I mean? So this can't go on forever. So mathematically, infinite limits prove that time and existence had to have a beginning. So technically, no, infinite limits are not possible.
Well, mathematically, they are possible and they are used.
No, mathematically, they are not, because you must mathematically divide by 0.
No, we don't.
Yeah. That's what an infinite limit is, an infinite duration of time, or an infinite movement that doesn't stop. That's what an infinite limit is.
Okay, so mathematically, there you can consider it like an infinite number of numbers between 1 and 2, like 1.01, 1.001, and you can keep doing that for infinity. Like,
yeah, but eventually you still have to divide by 0. Are you seriously gonna make me debate this, dude? Can you? All right, let's go.
Well,
keep
yeah,
going.
well,
You have
I
to
don't have
divide by
any-
0, and you just
No.
answered your own question in the one before it. In short, no, you can't divide by 0 because there's nothing to divide by. So then the infinite limit cannot exist.
Okay, so just like as an off, I don't have any advanced scientific degrees in any
Obviously,
field.
can we?
So that's something
go
we
on?
both share. That's something we both share. We can find common ground in that.
Well, I understand you can't divide by 0.
And so do I, because like, how are you going to divide
Well,
by
then
nothing?
how is technically yes an answer?
Well, if you would let me finish, I do have citations for yes, infinite limits are used in mathematics. They are useful.
They can't be useful because then you have to divide by 0, so then it's not an infinite limit. Like the literal definition means constant, continuous, infinite.
Yes, and you can constantly make numbers bigger or smaller without it reaching 0, because numbers really are arbitrary. Just like you were saying, like the measurement of time is arbitrary. Like 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. That's arbitrary. You can say 100 seconds.
And then mathematically, we prove that you have to divide by 0 eventually. So they can't be real. Like I didn't make this up. Like you can go to anywhere else and they will tell you that infinite limits are not possible.
Well, I do have citations that show they are, and they're used. Let's see. Go to this website I have, as a citation. Oh, did you bring citations, by the way, for like what you were saying, mathematically proving you have to divide by 0?
It's kind of like in the number line, so I didn't realize I needed to.
So you didn't bring any evidence. Okay, that's fine.
If you believe you can divide by 0 technically sometimes, then whatever. You go ahead and believe that.
No, I didn't say we can divide by 0.
Then infinite limits are not possible. because your denominator must get smaller and smaller and smaller as you approach zero from either side. So to go over over the zero from whatever your infinite limit is from this side, the infinite from this side, to jump over to the next thing, you have to divide by zero. So it's not possible. They can't go on forever.
All right, back to my thing. I'm trying to get my screen share to show citation I have.
Well, anybody can say anything different. It's in principle. Can you divide by zero?
No,
Exactly.
but that does bring up this point. What does this have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Nothing. This was between me and Nick too, and I told you that I was going to ask those questions, but like you,
Okay.
I told you they didn't apply to you. This was a McToon thing. Like he's the one who says infinite limits are possible. So, like I was trying to tell him that no, they're not, because eventually you have to divide by zero.
Well, there's this paper. Well, it's a PDF.
Right. I understand we can't divide by zero. I got that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you don't need to show that.
Well, you're saying we do have to eventually divide by zero, and I'm saying no, we can't. So why would we have to?
Because zero's on the number line and it's an infinite number line.
Yeah, there could be an infinite amount of numbers between 0 and 1.
Yeah. So
Right.
eventually, it doesn't matter how many times you break it up into decimal points, eventually you're going to hit that big number 0, which means you can't divide by 0. Can't believe I'm having to explain numerators and denominators.
I'm going to explain the shape of the Earth to you. So anyway.
Dude, why don't we skip all of this, and why don't you just name the 3 things that I can look at outside that lets me know for a fact that the ground beneath my feet is curved slightly in all directions and is in motion.
Oh, outside, the sun as it rises and sets. That's that's caused by the rotation of the Earth.
No,
Okay.
the only way to reproduce the shadows we observe daily outside is if the sun is rotating above our heads in a circle, because sundials do not work on a spherical object.
Yes,
They don't function. Why don't you show me? Oh, wait, you can't. Your camera's not working. You can't even show yourself after making fun of me and my eyes in the chat.
Yeah, well, it's the camera thing is like
yeah,
antivirus.
it's an antivirus thing, right?
No, like I absolutely would show my camera because like I want to show you my face, like as I'm like looking at you, just the smile on my face.
Yeah, can we go on? We know we can't divide by 0.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to my other.
Well, wait. What can I look at outside that, I know the ground beneath my feet is curved slightly in all directions?
Well, another thing you can look at is the horizon itself. Like that is a result of the curvature of Earth.
No, the horizon is built by your eyes. It's not a fixed location. It's there because your eyes converge from bottom to top and come to a point. That's how the horizon is made. It's made by your eyesight. It's not a fixed location.
Well, you see the horizon with your eyes. That is true.
Right.
But like when you're seeing, let's say, windmills starting to disappear and they're going below the horizon, that is the result of Earth curvature. That horizon is the result of Earth curvature.
No, it's not. That is because of your eyesight. It converges bottom to top, like looking down a railroad track. Your eyesight converges bottom to top. That's why you got cones and rods in there. It converges bottom to top like a cone. The line in the center, the eye line that always comes to the middle of the camera, your eye line, that is built by your eyes and the lens of the camera, or the optics of the camera.
Does that happen when you look straight up? Is there a horizon when you look up?
Is there?
No. Because the horizon is all of the shape of the Earth. Right.
No, it's because your eyesight. When you look up, do you still see things in a flat line? The clouds are still in a flat line. Chemtrails are still in a flat line.
Contrails.
It's your eyesight. No, chemtrails.
Contrails.
Chemtrails. trails. They're poisoning us. Can we go
Okay,
on?
let's go on to the next part. Like another question you
Oh,
had is
hey,
about
since
serious?
McToon likes to show his cat, look who just visited me. This is Snowflake. He was Snowflake before we started calling y'all Snowflake. All right.
Okay, so I want to go on to like some of the other questions you had.
Oh, the binary star. Right on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me screen share McToon's emails.
But
Can you stop
only,
so I can?
but it only one can go at a time, and he was doing his presentation. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
maybe let him do his, and then you can come in with your rebuttal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you were talking about Sirius being the only binary star made of two components.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's not-
one of my polls.
Yeah, that's not what a binary star is. A binary star system is two stars in orbit around each other, or a gravitational, like a shared. common,
Maybe
like,
you need to look up the
gravitational.
definition of binary. Binary means made of two components. Sirius is the only binary star made of two components, and the rest are only parts of systems. If I could show McToon's emails, I would show you his own sources that he sent me shows that Sirius is the only binary star made up of two components, and the rest are parts of other systems. So maybe you need a dictionary.
No, binary is like simply there two. Like it doesn't mean like elements, but like
Dude, can you look up the word binary real quick?
fine, I guess. Binary. Not binary star system. That's two stars.
Just the word binary. That's all we're looking for. Made up of two components.
Relating to, composed of, or involving two things. Relating to, using, or expressing a system of numerical notation that has two rather than 10 as a base.
Binary.
Something having two parts.
Sirius is the only binary star because my model requires a center point that is made up of two components. It's got the horseshoe in the middle, two components. Sirius is in the center, made up of two components.
Okay, so what do you mean by components? Do you mean elements like hydrogen, helium?
No,
Or-
it's made up of both positive and negative because that is the inflection point where the sound entered this medium and where it split. So it's made up of two components. It is a binary star.
That's what I mean by binary star. All right. Because when I looked at binary star, it just showed binary star systems, and like I think it did say Sirius.
Yeah,
is a
the
binary
rest of them
star.
are all just parts of systems, which is what I tried to tell McToon, and I asked him during the thing. But he refused to answer and acknowledge it. Maybe he didn't know the definition of binary either. Now that you do, Sirius is the only binary star in the sky, and the rest are only parts of other systems. Do you want to go on to rainbows inside?
I think it might be appropriate to let you screen share then, so you can show the citation saying that Sirius is the only binary star. So could Jiffy, could you stop sharing, and then Marisa can share?
Yeah. So I guess there was some confusion what she meant by binary stars. I thought she meant binary star systems, but there are more than just one binary star system in the universe. People with telescopes have seen them.
This is what McToon sent me. See? Can you see that?
It's really hard to see.
A little blurry.
I don't know how to make it any bigger. So if your people want to
Well,
Want to know?
you can see at the bottom. I can read. It says Mizar is a binary star.
Well, these are your sources. So why don't you put them up? Like this is the email that you sent me. And then
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just see on the screen there. Mizar is a binary star. So
and then
I don't know Why
Well,
you think
that's
that's
fair.
an issue? I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Beca-
that's what I was gonna
These
get to. There's a lot of binary
these
stars.
these are the things that you sent me, okay? And then I told you the only binary star is Cirrus itself. The rest are parts of systems.
Yeah,
You see that
you've
at the
said that.
top?
You've said that, but I
This
gave you
is what
citations.
you
Yeah, I gave you
sent me.
citations that said that
And then I
other stars
said,
are binary star systems. So
can you read them yourself? These are your sources.
yeah, they all say that other
Your
stars are binary stars.
No, they say they're parts of system.
Gosh.
Can you read them yourself?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
This is what you sent me.
I think you're joking, right? I mean, you have to
This is-
actually be joking.
This is what you sent me. This is your email to me.
Yeah.
And
this
down
is
here at the
so-
bottom, you
so
see
crazy
on this
that,
one.
that you have
Can
to
you
be.
can
have
you
to be
stop
joking.
talking for just a second? Can you stop talking for just a second? Hold on, not that one. The second one. See this right here, see Polaris stationary system.
Okay.
The only one that is a binary star is Cirrus.
But
Well,
You
below
see here,
says
you
but Miser
highlighted it.
is. Miser
You
is as well.
highlight it. Then pull up your Miser thing, because this is just a screenshot from your emails. Your
it's right
emails,
there at the
make
bottom.
sure.
Yeah.
Right there at the bottom.
It's part of a system. You're the one that highlighted it. And then I asked you, can you read them yourself?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I read them. That's why I sent them to you because Miser
And then-
is
And then
a binary star.
Nope.
It was one of the earliest ones discovered.
why don't you pull the, I'll stop screen sharing. By the way, before we go on, this is your video of rainbows inside, flat earth debunk. And the guy's got a metal ceiling. You can see the window in his house there and the reflecting off the ceiling. So I'll stop screen sharing. You can screen share that last Mitza one. And
The last what?
whichever one you're saying that is a binary star. It's
Miser.
another binary. Yeah,
Miser.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
MIZAR.
it's your source.
Yeah.
I just took a screenshot of your emails.
Yeah.
You sent those to me.
Yeah.
I proved you wrong by your own sources.
No, you didn't.
Then you call. Well, then show me where it says it's a binary star.
You didn't know that Miser is one of the first binary stars to be identified?
It's part of a system. It even says it on its own.
Yeah. Another one is Acrux. Yeah, you know about Acrux?
They're part of systems. The only one that's a binary star
Oh,
made
okay.
of two
Tell it.
components
You go ahead. You share.
is Cirrus.
Hey, just share your screen that says that's the only one. Maybe you have that.
Maybe they're your sources. Why don't you share them?
You're the one that made the claim that that's the only one.
I'm making the claim. It's your responsibility to prove me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm making the claim, and I showed you
that's the opposite of how
from
it
your
works.
own from
That's
your
the
own
opposite of how
sources.
it works, actually.
No, you
The way it
sent me the
actually-
sources.
Yeah, Marissa, the way it actually works is if you make the claim, which you have, you said that it's the only binary star, then it's on you
Right.
to provide the evidence for it. If I just show one
You
contradictory
sent me.
thing, yeah, if I just show you one contradictory thing, then it shows that you're wrong. But of course, you didn't
Well,
first
keep
provide.
that keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
showed you on your thing on the debate we had last time that Cirrus is the only binary star.
No, you
Then
didn't.
you
You just
said-
made the claim over and over and over. You never actually.
It's on Wikipedia. It's claimed.
Then go ahead. Share your screen. Show where on Wikipedia it says that Cirrus is the only binary star. Go ahead.
Well, it's a binary star. The rest of them are all parts of systems. If you read
Okay.
them, then you'll find out that it is the only binary star. A binary
Tell
star,
you what,
but
tell you
by
what,
definition, it has to be made up of two components.
All right. Well,
Itself,
tell you what.
not part of a system of two
Sure,
components,
sure.
not part
All right,
of.
Just a second. Let me just.
These are your sources.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you actually. This is pretty
Because
funny.
this is one of my polls.
Yeah, I
You don't
understand.
have any.
I understand.
You don't have any evidence to where your poles are. So you got to debunk. You got to try to debunk mine.
well, it's
But
easy.
you
It's
can't
easy.
do that
So
because Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, made of two components. Polaris is not the brightest star in the
two
sky.
components?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a binary star.
Yeah. But what's a binary star?
Why am I talking to you? I thought I was supposed
Because
to be.
you kept trying to talk to me. You kept trying to address me instead of
Sirius
Jiffy,
is a
but that's
binary
fine.
star.
All right, here we go. Here's the wiki page for binary star. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read. A binary star is a system of two stars that are gravitationally bound to and in orbit around each other. System.
Do we
see
we
that?
need to call
System.
Wikipedia and ask
System.
them to look up the definition of binary?
System. You see that?
Binary.
System. So double stars, a pair of stars that appear close to each other, have been observed since the invention of the telescope. Early examples include Mizar and Acrux. Oh, hey, those were the two I mentioned.
Keep
Right
going.
on the
Does it say-
binary star
Does
Wikipedia
it
page.
say Sirius anywhere?
Does it say Sirius in here? It does.
Examples
In
of
fact,
binaries.
that picture,
Right
it's
there.
a picture of Sirius right here. See the well-known binary star Sirius.
Okay, so it says the examples of binaries are Sirius and the Sirius, whatever, and it's a well-known black hole. Are you trying to tell me that you're gonna it's a black hole?
A black hole is a
Are you
collapsed star.
serious?
I mean,
black
it's
hole
just
is
the
a collapsed
Wikipedia
star.
page for binary star, where it says a binary star is a system of
Now
two
look-
stars. And then
Now
it
look
gives
at
an
the
example.
definition of binary.
That's what I'm looking at right here. Binary star.
Binary.
That's
The
what we're on.
definition
A
of
binary star is a system of two stars.
Binary is made up
Alright.
of two components. Maybe Wikipedia doesn't have a dictionary either.
So here
Go
we are.
back
I mean,
to
this is
binary.
pretty simple. Pretty simple stuff. The bright southern star Acrux in the Southern Cross was discovered to be a double by Father Fortuné in 1685. There you go.
Oh yeah, they
This
had
is-
great telescopes in
So
1685.
this is on the page for binary stars. So I don't know what your problem is here, Marissa. This doesn't
The
work out
problem
well
is
for you.
binary. It's made up of two components, which is what the center star for my model
Yeah.
would need. Maybe you need to
There
look
you
up
go.
the definition of binary.
A
Can we
binary
put up
star
the-
is a system.
Can we
of
look
two
up the
stars
definition
that are
of
gravitationally
binary?
bound to in orbit around each other?
Can we look up the definition of binary, please?
No, let's
Does it
look at
have
the-
anything?
this-
Does
this
it
is
say anything? Does
specifically
binary
about
say
binary
anything
stars.
about systems? Does binary say anything about systems?
So binary, of course.
Binary,
Yeah.
the definition of binary means made up of two components.
Yeah, like two stars. A system of two stars would be a binary star.
No, that's a system. That's two different
I mean-
items.
I mean, a
That's
binary
two
star.
different items.
And you're trying to use the word
made up.
binary star. A binary
No,
star
I'm
is a
trying.
system. And
No,
it
I'm
gives,
trying
and
to
it gives
use
some
the
examples.
definition of binary
Examples include Mizar and Acrux. So
systems.
that doesn't work well for you.
Systems.
Yeah.
Systems. Now let's look up
Yeah.
binary.
This is a ridiculous hill for you to die on, but it's funny that you will do it. I do love that you want to die on this hill. It's hilarious, hilariously funny that you think this is something that you should
Okay.
go for.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's a pretty nice article. It's a good sized one here.
Yeah.
So you
Lots and
know,
lots-
a
Lots
large
and lots
portion.
of words so the dummies
Yes.
don't read and don't look up definition.
Yeah, like you. So
I know what the term binary means. It means made up of two components.
yeah. So we got
Two components.
Antares is a red supergiant star in a binary system with a hotter blue
System.
main sequence star. Antares
Okay,
B.
let me ask you.
Antares
Let
B
me
can therefore be termed a hot companion with a cool supergiant.
Are we gonna stop with the nonsense? Can you go back and
So,
you
all right,
look
let's-
up the definition of binary?
Let's look here. Let's look at Cirrus here. Cirrus
God.
is the brightest star in the sky. It's named from the Greek word, Cirrus there. So, all right, it's very bright. It says Cirrus is a binary star consisting of a main sequence star, termed Cirrus A, and a faint white dwarf component, type DA2, termed Cirrus B. The distance between the two varies
So
between
why don't they
8.2
call that a system? And not just Cirrus, the binary star.
The Cirrus system is one of Earth's nearest neighbors. They do call it a system, Marisa. This hill is hilariously funny.
Two components.
It's absolutely hilarious that you think you have something here. I love it.
Look, you don't understand,
Marisa.
I've already said that there's a separation at this inflection point where positive and negative separate. There's a degree of separation. I said that on the last one. But to make up this star, it has to have two components because it's made of both positive and negative.
So you say, but it's not unique in any way at all. In fact, it's one of the most common type of star is a binary star. So
this is also based on globe model data. But you go to the term binary and it says made up of two components itself.
Yes, two
not
components.
A series,
for example,
not a system.
A crux would be an example. There you go. Two components there on screen. See that?
Then they should call that a binary star.
Oh, they do.
They do.
No, they call it a system.
Binary star system.
I mean, they also call Cirrus a system. The Cirrus system. See that right there? System. They call it that.
It's also based on globe model data.
So a crux being another example of a binary star, because I mean, right.
Do you want to pull up the definition of binary now and show people?
A crux. Yeah, right here. Binary star is a system of two stars.
No, not binary star. The definition of binary.
Yeah, two components.
Like the dictionary definition of binary.
Yeah, two components.
Like, let's define the word binary.
Yeah, yes. Let's forget what actual astronomers use, and you're gonna just substitute in something else. But as soon as I show it doesn't match, you're gonna swap it out.
All of those astronomers believe that the Earth is a globe.
So
what did they do when you go into a planetarium? They post it onto a dome.
All right, yep, of course. So a crux is the brightest star in the southern constellation of Crux. Right?
Are you gonna go to the definition of binary?
Oh, look at that. To the naked eye, a crux appears as a single star, but it's actually a multiple star system containing 6 components. Look at that. Components. You want components or do you want system? What word was it that you were wanting to have?
I want you to look up the definition of binary.
Yeah, what word are you looking for in binary?
Binary.
Relating to, composed of, or involving 2 things. How's that? 2 things. So a crux, actually 6 things, isn't it? But binary, a system of 2 stars. Like
Cirrus, go back to definition of binary. There's more than one.
Oh, you want a different one? Oh, all right. Test
relating to using
or expressing system. You want a system of notation that is 2 rather than 10 as a base? That'd be binary
system.
No, actually, that's
something
base.
Having 2 parts.
Oh my goodness, you don't know what base 2 is.
Something having 2 parts.
This is the numbering system that computers use, Marisa. Binary. 0s and 1s in the binary system. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0,
yeah, 1. And Cirrus is the only binary star in the sky. The rest of them are made up of
this definition is talking to a counting system.
These are binary is made up of 2 components.
It's a system of numerical notation.
The only one that's made up of both 2 components is Cirrus.
Oh my gosh.
It's made up of 2 components. Part A.
Not even close.
Go back to Cirrus.
You are thoroughly insane, Marisa. Totally and completely insane.
Go back to Cirrus. It's made up of part A and part B.
Just like A-Crux, just like Miser. I mean, all these,
go back to Cirrus. Where's Cirrus?
Oh my gosh.
Go back to Cirrus.
Insanity. Pure insanity.
Guess I'll just take a back seat.
Yeah.
Go back to Cirrus.
I mean, she doesn't want to talk to you. She only wants to talk to me.
I don't care. I'm trying to tell you guys that Cirrus is the only binary star in the sky.
I mean, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't work. I mean, we just look up binary star, and it gives multiple examples.
Look up Cirrus. Pull up Cirrus.
Yeah, it doesn't say Cirrus is the only. Here, let me search for only.
Cirrus is made up of two components. Go back up to the term
Oh my
Cirrus
gosh.
A, term Cirrus B. It is made up of two components that make up that one star. That is binary.
But so are other stars.
Those are parts of the system.
Just pure insanity. Absolute
No, the
insanity.
star itself must be made up of two components, not this star and then this star, part of that system.
Absolute,
Well, a
Cirrus
binary
is the only one.
absolute insanity. I love it. I love it.
a binary star system is two stars. Like we're trying to get this. Like now, what you're trying to describe
But
is like two different
Cirrus
energies.
is made
like-
up of two components.
Yeah, and those two
A
components you're
and
talking
B.
about are, and those two components you're talking about are like a negative charge and a positive charge.
Yeah, because when sound enters this medium, then it splits into positive and
That
negative.
makes no
Like I
sense
said
at all.
last time.
Okay, like if you have a
Like,
citation
why
for that,
not-
I'd love to see it. If you have a citation for that, I'd love to see it.
I'm building my model. I'm building my model myself. Why don't we go into your model? Wait,
Oh,
did
sure,
you
like-
find your polls? Did you find your polls?
Oh yeah, I have links.
Here,
I have links to those.
All right, I'll stop. You
You know the physical location of your polls?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, how many do you have first? Because McToon had like 3 or 4. How many
Yeah,
do you
there's-
got?
There's 4.
There's
Like
4?
there's the, yeah. Well, you could consider
Well,
6 because one of them's kind of
There's
specific.
6 now?
No, there could be. Like it's the technical thing.
It
Okay,
depends
there's the
what you're-
Did
geographic.
you're
the
doing.
stars rotate around 2 specific points?
Oh no,
Like, how are you
just the
getting
geographic
6?
ones. Just the geographic ones.
What
Jiffy.
does that mean?
He's just talking about the geographic north,
Yeah,
north
I'm-
and south poles. Yeah. All right. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I'm
pull it
gonna
up.
There- Well,
let me share my screen so I
you
can
know,
give
the
you the link.
stars only rotate around 2. That's what we see. How do you get more? What is the evidence of where more are?
Okay, so one set of them are the geographic poles, the geographic north and the geographic south.
That's all she's talking
Then
about.
there's
No,
and
don't-
where
Jiffy,
are they
she's not
located?
talking about anything else. So just
And
talk
where
about
are
those.
they located?
okay. Those are at the points of like the axes of rotation of the Earth. So like
Well,
the
how did
actual
you get
north.
that? If like what evidence? Like what evidence do you have that it's in the location? Because on one, it's in the on Google Earth, it's on ice, and then the other one's in the middle of the ocean. So like what evidence do you have that they're actually there? Because that's your foundation. Without that, you don't have any rotation, you don't have a tilt, you don't have a wobble, you don't have shit.
Well, I do have like citations on geographic.
No, I want
Well,
evidence. Like what evidence is
that's
in
what the
that
citations are
physical
for.
location?
Let me get up the web page. Share that.
Are you working on it, Jiffy?
Yeah, like I accidentally pressed share on the wrong screen.
Okay.
He can't screen share. Wait, he can screen share, but he can't show us his fucking face.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera's not working. Sorry about that.
Right on. Oh, good. We put a poll there.
Yeah, they put it there. They're like, oh, this is exactly 90 north. Like the
So-
actual
So
geographic
how,
north pole is at the
how
bottom
did
of
they
the archipelago.
tell where they put that poll from any other space, any other location around it? Like what was different that they said right here? This is our poll.
Just the right one.
What are we looking at?
Trying to find where it says like how they got it. I might have put the wrong one. But
So you don't know?
like off the top of my head, no, like I had this source, but I think yeah.
So that article didn't teach you well enough to tell me where your polls are and what the evidence is?
But it does say 90 degrees north there.
But
A latitude
where
of
did-
90 degrees north. It says right. on
where
this.
did they start the latitude from?
Well, 90 degrees is one end of it, isn't it?
Well, you have to have like a starting point before you can start assigning 90 degrees. 90 degrees from where?
From from the equator where it's 0.
You can't find the equator until you have the points, because on a spherical object, it could be anywhere.
You don't know what the equator is? Oh, too bad.
Do you?
Yes.
Where?
It's
What
at
locations?
It's 0 degrees north. That's where the plane of the ecliptic intersects the globe.
What?
The plane of the ecliptic is
You
where
got a word salad right there.
I'm sorry, you didn't
You
understand
got a
that.
major word salad
I'm
right
sorry,
there.
you didn't
So
understand
what
plane
is?
of the ecliptic.
No, I don't think you understand
Got
that you need a pole before you can find the center of those 2 points,
Okay.
which
yeah.
is what the
So you
equator
say.
is,
So you
right?
say. Got it.
No, so like common sense says. You need 2 points before you can find the center of those 2 points, which is what the equator is. So where are your poles? If you don't have a physical location for your poles, you can't start assigning
you did just say it.
direction anywhere.
Yeah. So the way that the degrees latitude.
That's where we get direction from.
Yeah. It was
North, south, east, and west
well,
comes from where those location of those poles
Yeah,
are.
I'll explain it to you here. Just to.
Okay.
So, are you sharing something? All right, there you go.
Yeah, just like the Wikipedia
Jiffy's
page about it.
All right, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so well, they explored it and they charted it out, like as you see here. This was the I had when I was working on this presentation.
Did it tell you?
Hey, he's
Did
talking.
it tell you
Marisa,
what?
Shush.
All right. So, all right. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So this like page goes over like the North Pole where it is, all that. And, like so.
Well,
the
wait a
problem was,
second.
like,
Wait a second.
in-
Wait
oh
a
my
second.
gosh.
Well, he
The
got
North
one
Pole-
sentences before you jumped in, Marisa.
No. Well,
That's it, huh? That's all
on
you
Google
let.
Earth.
That's all you gave him, huh?
On Google Earth, it's in the ocean. The North
Yes.
Pole's in the ocean on Google Earth. So
Yeah, it's
It
at the bottom
can't-
of the Arctic Ocean. Like
it
that's
can't-
where the geographic part is. That pole that we saw like was on the ice above it.
but it's in the middle of the ocean on Google Earth, so something's wrong.
No, it's not.
Oh, Jiffy, she doesn't understand that a frozen ocean is ice.
I didn't understand the ocean could freeze.
Yeah, well, you learn a new thing every day.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was something
moving-
else that
Living saltwater freezing. No.
that was something else that was in my presentation about like the water and ice for confusion with it.
Well, water and light and ice and all that shit's not ever going to change, and it requires an enclosed system for it to go from a solid to liquid to a gas up to to the clouds and then back down in the form of solid. That thermodynamics requires an enclosed system.
Well, the entire universe is the enclosed system, quote unquote. Like,
I'm
pretty
sorry,
sure that's not
what?
the correct word. Like, the entire universe.
I'm sorry,
is
what?
the enclosed system. The entire universe is the enclosed system. Or like, what was it? What's the actual word? I forgot off the top of my head. It was isolated, I think.
Yeah.
Isolated system.
Yeah, there is only one true isolated system.
Then what's the barrier?
There is no barrier.
Then it's not an isolated enclosed
Yeah,
system.
there's
is it?
only one isolated system in the universe, and that is the universe.
Then what's the barrier?
By the definition of what the thermodynamics.
Thermodynamics requires an isolated enclosed system
No, it doesn't.
where not a
No, it doesn't.
proton could get out, an electron could get out. It requires conservation of energy.
No,
So nothing can get out, nothing can get in, an isolated system.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you don't
And
understand.
you need
You
to
don't
be have
understand
barrier.
this topic, but hey, it's funny that you don't.
All right, so where are your poles located and what's the evidence of it being there?
Well, since we have measured the rotation of the Earth,
But we
can-
haven't because we don't have a starting point.
you don't need a starting point for the rotation of the Earth necessarily. Well,
Yeah,
depends
Yeah,
on
you
your
do.
definition.
because
I'll-
on your model, the rotating at the equator or whatever is going faster than at the poles. So yeah, you need the poles before you have rotation. Not to mention we don't feel any rotation.
Well, why would you have why would you? Like millions of years of evolution, like do you think
Because
that
you
we'd get used to
feel
it?
you've been in a plane, right? You've been in a plane. You feel
Yes.
take off, you feel bank left, you feel bank right, you feel
Yeah.
descent, right?
Yeah. I
You
feel
ever-
acceleration and deceleration. I do not feel the constant movement of the plane. No.
Right, but do you ever feel it dipping its nose down to, stay with curvature, which it should do every 3 to 5 minutes?
It doesn't actually have to dip its nose down. They tend to point their nose
Oh,
up a
right.
little
I
bit to
forgot
keep the lift.
your
Yeah.
atmosphere
Marissa,
follows along
you
with that.
didn't even let him finish one sentence.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not.
Yeah, so rude.
Because it's ridiculous. Do you have evidence? Do you have any physical evidence with water being diamagnetic, salt water the way it acts in a magnetic field? Do you
What?
have any evidence of a magnetic field in that location?
What the
And
hell?
if
Is,
so,
what the hell
now you're
even
talking
is
about-
that?
is the location?
Oh, now you're talking about the geomagnetic north and south poles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
she's
just want to
confusing
know
them.
what your foundation is. What is your foundation?
She's
We're
confused.
building a model.
Yeah, to be clear, she
If
is
you-
confusing the geographic poles with the magnetic poles. She doesn't know the
Yeah.
difference.
We
Okay,
observed the stars rotate around 2 points.
Yes.
Where are those points? What's underneath it?
Those points are above the north and south poles, or like the
Yeah.
the geographic, like the center of rotation, the axes of
North,
rotation on our
south,
globe.
East and west are directional, not locational. Where is it located?
90 degrees
North
north
Pole.
latitude.
I
gotta
was just gonna say,
Jiffy, you gotta say it quick because she's gonna interrupt.
okay, the poles are at 9 degrees north or south, depending on which one you want.
There
How
you go.
did you get 90 degrees? Where did you start?
You can start at the equator, which is right in between them.
How did you get the equator between 2 points? You don't know where they are.
We know where they are though.
Then what's the evidence?
It's directly below the center of rotation.
What's the evidence?
What's the evidence? Well, we can measure how far we are from the center of rotation.
How? If you don't know where the center is.
Well, you don't need, if you're going to figure out where the center is, of course you don't know where the center is yet. You gotta
Right,
do it
you
in the
need-
right order. So when you're
You
trying
gotta
to find out
need
where
those
the,
poles.
when you're trying to find out where the center of rotation is, you need to find out where the center of rotation is. You can't first find where the center of rotation is in order to find the center of rotation. That's the wrong order, Marissa. You've got to first not know where the center of rotation is and then go find the center of rotation. So you can do that through celestial navigation type topics, through techniques. So you can look at your
where
current
is your
latitude. Hold on, I'm not done.
physical-
You asked the specific question. I'm giving you the answer. It's not a one sentence answer. So you will need to just pause your mouth for a second and
Okay.
listen with your ears instead of yapping your mouth, okay? So you can know how far you are from the center of rotation, from the celestial pole, by measuring this to the center of rotation in the celestial pole, right? So we know, for example, right now, that Polaris is about a ½ degree from the center of rotation. So you can find where the center of rotation is using a telescope, different techniques with a telescope, and then you can find your declination, how far you are. That's the angle of the star.
So
Then
what
you
is
know-
the Polaris?
Then you know what percentage of the radius of the Earth you are away from the center of that rotation, for the point directly below it. We have
So what's below it?
we have defined the distance between them historically as 1 degree to 60 nautical miles. So once you measure that angle, say you measure that angle to be 45 degrees, then you know you are 45 times 60 nautical miles from the geographic North Pole.
Let me say something here. We measure miles the same way we do like time, and equally spaced ticks. Tick tick tick, that's an inch. Tick tick tick, that's a foot. Tick tick tick, that's a mile. So what location is directly under Polaris that you have tick 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 that it's a
Yeah, so-
nautical mile?
So like I said, if you're at 45 degrees north and you don't yet know
You
how
can't
long,
assign
I was
north yet.
not even one sentence away from
You
from
cannot
beginning.
assign
I didn't
north,
even
south,
get
east, and
I didn't
west
even get to the
until
beginning.
you
I didn't even get to
find
say
those
one
poles.
sentence before you jumped in, Marissa. All right, again, I'm going to have to ask you to shut your mouth and open your ears so that you can learn. Okay, this is FE. We call it free education.
Okay.
Once
right ahead.
once you've determined that your angle is 45 degrees, it's about
Are
where-
you?
oh, wow,
Are you?
one
wait,
sentence.
before,
One
yeah.
sentence.
Before you start, are you
Wow.
going to tell
One
me?
sentence.
Are you going to tell me what physical location is under Polaris and how you can tell?
What you're
that
going to
it is
have to
there?
do is stop interrupting me in order for you to get the FE that I'm offering you.
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm at 45 degrees north. You don't yet know how far a nautical mile is yet. That's fine.
I don't
You
even
can
know where
then,
north is
wait, I
yet.
wasn't even done. North is the center of rotation in one
How do you
direction.
tell that?
South is the center of rotation in the other direction.
How do you tell that?
How do you tell which way is north? Or
No,
which way
yeah,
is the
yeah,
center of rotation? Well, center
yeah.
of
How do you tell which
rotation,
way is north?
we can get today by looking at a time-lapse photo, for example, pointing your camera some direction, getting a time-lapse, and you can see that it creates a circle.
I showed you a time lapse last time, and it doesn't create a circle. He just followed along with the flat map,
Yeah, that doesn't make any
the
sense.
star trail.
Anyway, so what you do, you find that all the stars rotate about a center point. Then you can just arbitrarily say, we're going to say that that is north. We could say it's butterflies. We could say it's potato chips if we wanted, but we chose the word north. So that way is north. So now I'm at 45 degrees because that's the angle to that center of rotation. Let's go a certain distance, one direction, either north or south, doesn't matter. You can pick so that we can begin to map out where this is. This is when we don't know these things, right? And of course, this was centuries ago. People figured it out. You go north a certain amount and you say, hey, let's go until we find that the angle is now 44 degrees. And we will then say that we have moved a certain amount. Let's do it again until we're at 43 degrees and 42
Okay.
degrees.
I understand.
And that distance is the same. Every time we move 1 degree of angular elevation, we move the same distance north. Once you've moved
There's a
from
problem,
45 all the way
You
to
don't
where you
have
get...
the starting point.
Yeah, I was explaining to you how to get the starting point. So once you've moved 45 times 1 degree, then you've got the starting point.
So you move 45 times away from your original point and you got the starting point.
Yeah, towards the center of rotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's that point? Where's that point?
That would
and
be the
that
north
location?
geographic
But
pole.
okay, so what location is under that point?
There's ice under it most of the time.
And how can you tell there's ice? Like, how can you tell that's
people
where
have
it's
gone
at?
there. There's actually an annual marathon around it.
But how can you tell from that point as opposed to any other 45-degree angle around that point?
When you're at that point?
Yeah.
When you're at that point, zenith.
Can you feel like a magnetic field? Is there
No.
a difference in feeling?
No.
Can you see any evidence like in the eyes?
Yes.
Where it might have.
You can measure that the center of rotation is at your zenith.
Well, you can't find rotation until you have your starting
Yeah,
point.
I already showed you how to get the starting point.
You
missed
didn't.
It. I mean,
I'm asking you for a location.
I gave you all that FE, all that free education.
I'm asking you for
right
a location.
Right
I'm asking you for a location. This is the foundation of your model that you cannot tell me a location of where these things began.
I mean, I just told you how.
I say that Polaris
is
above the eye of Africa, and the other one
That's
is
ridiculous.
over east.
That's absolutely insanity.
That's just your opinion.
No, there's no opinion about that. That's 100% pure insanity. Absolute,
if you can't tell me what's under Polaris on your model, then you can't determine what's underneath Polaris on my model.
What's
under Polaris?
We know where Polaris is in reality. In Polaris,
then what's under it? In reality, how can you tell?
In reality, underneath Polaris, it draws a circle about 60 nautical miles from the center of rotation, which would be the
kind of like the eye of Africa, right? Like the formation of the ground.
There's lots of ice there. There's a whole lot of not Africa in the vicinity.
Do you understand water is magnetic? What?
It is not magnetic. Water's not magnetic.
It's diamagnetic.
There you go. Very good. And what does that mean?
Right. So there would be no water because water's diamagnetic. Like
that
the eye of
makes no
Africa,
sense at all. That's more insane.
It's void of all water.
You have just gone more insane than before, Marisa. Why would there be no water there?
Because water's diamagnetic.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would there be no water there?
Because water is dispelled from it. It's repelled by it.
How strong is the geographic or the magnetic field of the Earth?
Well, you say that it protects the whole Earth from space wind and all that shit.
How strong
So
is
it must be a pretty strong
No,
field.
it's actually pretty
Even
weak.
on your,
It's actually
No,
pretty weak.
then what's your barrier between that and space?
Oh my gosh.
You can't have a pressure system next to a non-pressure system. Oh wait, I forgot. Space is both not a vacuum and a vacuum
Oh
at
my
the same
gosh.
time. I forgot.
All right.
Yeah,
PhD
my bad.
Tony says, in all seriousness, this is in no way a frivolous comment. Marisa needs to seek the services of a mental health professional.
Kiss my ass.
There you go, PhD Tony. Dave Kircher says a great way to build an accurate model of real-world observations is to start with a globe and don't change anything. That's a
Well,
good way.
if you find any curvature, you let me know. Where are your poles? Find your poles. That's your foundation.
I just
Gentlemen,
explained it to you. Woo, right over your head. All right.
Listen.
I should
You
let,
have
I
to
mean,
have a
Jiffy,
foundation.
I'm sorry, Jiffy. You should really be in here. I'm kind of hogging the time here.
You
Jiffy.
actually have to have a foundation if you want to build a model. You can't tell me where your poles are. You can't tell me what causes equal and opposite double rainbows. You can't tell me why there's a difference in the pattern color. You can't tell me anything. Is your model even really a model?
Yes, actually, I did answer like a lot of these questions in my
I've given
presentation, which we didn't get to finish.
I've given
And she
you
won't let
I didn't even finish my
interrupt.
sentence.
I've given you an experiment. I've given you observation that explains that space in all equal and opposite double rainbows. I've given you scripture to back up the experiment. Did they know when they wrote the Bible, the sonoluminescence experiment, to describe it so well in the first three verses of that book? Seriously.
The Bible?
You guys have no explanation for creation. You have no observations that actually match outside, yet you're claiming the globe is a model of outside?
Well, we do have actual working models, like the GSW84.
WGS84. Right?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
No, it's like a geodesic survey model. It matches our globe.
Everything's ground-based. We went over that last time. Remember satellites? It's part of a system, but not part of a system. It's satellite, like you have a home office and then you have a satellite office.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's all ground-based because that's why I was telling the guy that that did the video about the compass and he had the turning dial. That's why I told him to use a simple compass app instead of that, because you guys think it's still based on globe model data.
It is.
Why would
it
I tell?
definitely is, yeah.
It's not.
It totally is.
Then your friend should have no problem using a compass app and redoing his video where the dial doesn't turn.
I don't know what video you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. You gave him permission to do it, and you commented.
Oh yeah,
on
my
it.
friend from Australia. Yeah.
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 So you should have your friend redo his video with a simple compass phone app that the little dial can't turn, and prove it if he thinks I'm still at a disadvantage because you think that your phone is still programmed with globe model data.
Just to be clear, you reject the magnetic compass and instead want to use the one on the phone?
Well, then use one that the dial doesn't turn.
You don't know what those dials are for, do you?
The dial turns. That's the whole point.
We're trying, just like your video, Marisa.
Just like your video about the rainbows in the house, where the reflection is coming off the ceiling. The same thing as that.
Marisa,
the whole thing that you're trying to prove is direction. So if the direction dial turns, which he admitted to it.
No, Marisa, it's not the direction dial. Oh my gosh.
Which he admitted to it.
Oh my gosh. Where's my compass? I had no idea what you were talking about before, but now I think I have an idea. It's quite nuts. But all right, go ahead. Jiffy, you're showing something there?
Oh, no, I think that was
Marisa. I am. I'm showing you where the dude admits that the dial can turn. Regardless of the ability of the dial to turn.
All right, so the reason why, you don't know why what they're doing with the turning dial on a compass?
The whole point is that the whole point is direction. So if he wants to prove something is scientific,
here it is. Why?
If he wants to prove something scientific, then use something that the dial, what
Yeah.
you're trying
So
to
here, look at
prove,
this.
can turn.
So look at this right here. See this right here. Here's the needle. The needle points north and south. Right.
Yeah.
Now this turns.
Right. The dial turns.
This turns, but you see what's not turning? The needle doesn't turn well.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
So here, I'm
see
holding
my
it
point?
sideways. Here,
Just tell him to use a compass app. The dial can't turn. Show where the sun is, because the shadow always points opposite the sun.
This is the most
you guys
insane
do
thing
science?
Ever.
You guys want to do science?
Oh my gosh.
Do science.
You don't have.
You don't do calculations with a flawed model or a flawed example.
All right. Here we go.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If the dial can
nobody
turn,
does. Nobody does. Nobody
then
understands what you're saying.
redo it with
right.
one that can't turn.
Here I have a compass. I'm gonna switch what you see here.
I see you. I see you and your compass.
All right.
If he wants to
you
do
see
it
from above. All right. So watch this. All right. So you see here. Let's see. When I turn the dial, now that I'm holding it not vertically, the dial turns. But look what's not turning.
That's the point, dude. The dial turns. That's the point.
No, the point is that the needle is pointing north and south.
It used to be over there.
Even when I turn the dial, the needle points the same direction. So I think that you drastically don't understand what the point is of how the.
I think if you really want to do something scientific and you want to prove it without a shadow of a doubt, since there should be multiple instances and examples, if it's possible, then you should do it where it doesn't change and show where the sun is, because the sun always points opposite the light source. The shadow always points opposite the light source.
Yeah, that's why there's south-facing shadows in Australia.
Then the sun must come from north then, right?
Well, yeah, and when in Australia the sun is north of them midday.
No.
Yes. It
then
certainly
prove
is.
it.
Well, there's a billion people that live south of the equator that disagree with you. No need to prove it.
There's also billions that live south of the equator in Africa, or all the other ones that are south of the equators. Do they have south pointing shadows too?
Yeah, they all do. This is more insanity.
Then there should be.
Why would you? This is such an absolute ridiculous thing that there is no need for anybody to present any evidence for it. All we do is just laugh at your insanity. That's the only thing to do with it.
Why would I say this? Because everyone's sun rises east to west. They point west during the morning when it rises east. They point east during the evening, and then they point north all day.
No, they don't.
Everyone else,
no, they
but
don't.
this one dude in Australia.
For the billion people that live south of the equator, they see it.
Then he should do it with a compass that cannot change.
Pure insanity. Absolute insanity. Leslie Rohrer says, once again, Marisa speaks endlessly of that which she understands nothing. Infinite limits are used readily. All mathematics limit x as x approaches infinity of 1 over x equals 0.
The point is you have to divide by 0.
Citation needed.
There's no.
If y'all think you can divide by 0, by all means, believe that.
It's just called infinite limits, and it's very useful.
If you even in math,
Tornagon says Marisa cites personal incredulity. She also cites making up stuff. The Nodell Prize says, how many times do we divide 1 by 2 to reach 0?
I think that's the question for you, Marisa.
1 divided by 2 is half, so it will never be 0.
Oh, very good. All right.
Good
Minnie
job.
Karen is wondering if you can bring your cat back. Do you have your cat there?
No, he's over there on the bed sleeping.
All right. Well, Minnie Karen said, look, 2 snowflakes.
I'm sitting here with 3, actually.
Wolf said, can you ask her a hypothetical question if she's able to understand them? She didn't eat breakfast. If she didn't eat breakfast, how would she be feeling?
Well, let me tell you, gentlemen, if you have to resort to criticizing someone's appearance, then you've already lost the debate.
I don't think that was about your appearance. That was about asking a hypothetical question and seeing if you can understand it.
I don't care about hypotheticals. This is not why I'm here.
Okay, all right. Leslie Rohrer says, ask her
Can
why
we
she
can we
called
go on?
Leslie.
Do we need to do this right now? Because if we're done,
Yeah,
then I'm
well,
ready
Leslie
to go.
asked why. Ask her why she called me stupid.
Why I called you stupid?
Leslie Rohrer.
I don't know, Leslie.
Well, he's asking why you called him stupid.
I don't know him, so I don't know how I called him stupid.
All right. All right. Well, I mean,
I do want to get to part 2 of my presentation.
yeah,
We're
let's do
asking
that. Let's
questions
do that.
about.
Marisa, try to not interrupt. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, let me. And let's just skip to part 2 of my presentation since you won't like, the rest of it. It just answers your questions, which I think we've already covered most of them. Now, what flat Earth map or model would you point to as an accurate and working representation of the world?
Well, the Gleason map is the closest, but like I said, until you find those poles, you can't even start to plot land. You can't do anything. You need the location of those poles first, which is why I'm looking for.
So you would point to the Gleason as an accurate representation? That's
It's
good.
the closest because of time zones.
Well, they also use the Mercator map as a map of time zones.
But
Like-
it's the closest. The Gleason map is the closest.
So like in your flat Earth map or model, the North Pole would be the center?
No, your guys' North Pole is actually below Polaris, and I think Polaris is my negative magnetic field, and it's above the Eye of Africa.
Oh, well, citation. Do you have a citation for that?
I chose that location because of the way the stars rotate from that star rotation video the last time that I showed. The way that there's a pilot, his name is Pilot LX on Facebook. He flies over and he confirmed that there's a magnetic disturbance in the area. I chose it because of the way the clouds avoid the area. In fact, I have let me email a video to myself real quick and then I'll see if I can pull it up. But I chose that because
Sorry, like, I was just going to say, like if you wanted to screen share, I can stop sharing.
let me just do something real quick. I'll finish and then I'll do this in just a second. I was going to show you a video of Pilot LX flying over the Eye of Africa, and all of the clouds are like, they avoid the area like a 70-mile radius. And he confirmed that to me, that once you pass that point, then it goes back to like normal, all the clouds or whatever. So that's another reason I chose that location. And then the ground formation is the way that it comes up and it's in a circle, and it's void of all groundwater. Like that's another reason. The ground formation is another reason that I chose that location. So it wasn't just, I don't have like a peer-reviewed study paper. I did this just based on evidence of the area. And then even on your, like if you look up magnetic disturbances on a globe model, even over that globe model, or even on that globe model over the Eye of Africa, there's a major magnetic disturbance. So that's why I chose the Eye of Africa for the negative magnetic field.
Right. Like, I look forward to you like sharing that in the future. But can we go on to the other questions I have? Like,
Yeah.
all right. According to your flat Earth model, what is the sun?
I think it's like an arc lamp. Okay, so the moon on the inside of these two poles, you have these two poles. You have the negative pole over the Eye of Africa, then the positive pole over East Wall Mountain Crater. I'm not real positive about the positive pole because it's such a stronger or such a weaker force. But the moon on the inside, gains and loses its charge, its light, as it comes closer to the positive magnetic field, like an arc lamp, like when you put an arc lamp close to a magnetic field and then you pull it back out. And the sun is on the outside of those fields. It just stays lit up because of those fields. So while it rotates east to west, the moon goes west to east, and they are lit up because of these magnetic fields, because of the arc lamps.
Oh, do you have a citation for that? Like, how do they determine it's an arc lamp? Or
I was just looking at, things that act like it, like how things would be lit up like that, like with magnetism and like gases in an enclosed system, because we're in an enclosed system, so it must also be an enclosed system.
well, the isolated system, like according to you, like, all right, going to skip ahead a bit. Do you think there's a dome above us?
Yeah, do you know what sonoluminescence is, right?
Yeah, it's like
You
these little
watched my last
sparks in
thing
water.
and a sound through water creates light and it expands to create this bubble. Well,
Yeah.
the outside, the membrane of the bubble is sonoluminescence, and that is what is causing the oh, I can't screen share yet. I have that video on my email.
I'll
if
stop
you
sharing. So if I can like try to get this, I want to try to steel man you. You think there are like sound waves in water above us, or like are the sound waves making the dome?
the sound waves.
She'll have a citation for that. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Am I screen sharing?
Nope.
No, I was about to do the Nathan Thompson thing and start singing the Jeopardy theme.
Please no.
I can't get into Facebook. Like I can't log into Facebook. I'm permanently banned. So let's see if I can play this video.
And this is going back to like the poles, or
Yeah, this is the Eye of Africa. Let's turn the volume down.
is it lagging or okay? Yeah.
Okay, so you can see the clouds back here in the back. It avoids the area, like this whole area. You can look this guy up. His name is Pilot LX on Facebook, but you can look up. He flies over the Eye of Africa, and this is why I chose this location, because of his description of it.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
So
pretty
I
cool.
mean, you can look that guy up. He flies over it all the time. I asked him a few years ago, like if there was a disturbance in it. So he said yes and confirmed.
What confirmed?
I can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything?
I got it. Sorry, I turned my volume down so that like it didn't for that video. So yeah, I'm back up.
All right.
Okay. So you said what was confirmed?
Well, I confirmed it with him that there was a magnetic disturbance in the area as he flew over.
Okay, like how do you confirm it? Like
On his email thing or on the post on the Facebook post.
oh, did he share like the an explanation as to what was going on and like
That's
scientific papers on it or anything?
He's a flat earther that flies over the Eye of Africa. Go ask him. His name is Pilot LX on Facebook. I can't get on Facebook anymore. I'm permanently banned. They silence the truth.
Well, you said like Pilot Alex like messaged you or
No, I
like
asked him, like, he said he mentioned something about the clouds avoiding the area and how weird it was. And then when he passed that back over it, that, you know, it went back to normal. So I asked him if there was a magnetic disturbance in the area. That's when I was first started looking for holes to begin with.
But Jiffy asked, how did he test for a magnetic disturbance?
I don't know, you'll have to ask him.
So you just took it on blind faith.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, there's other evidence of a magnetic disturbance in the area, even on the globe model.
Yeah, well, bring forth the evidence.
please share.
While you're doing that, let's see here. Here we go. You have it yet? Yeah, no. Mr.
Sorry,
Eman, Mr. Eman gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for that. You got it coming yet?
No, not yet.
All right. Well, Bill McGuire says maybe being angrily and arrogantly stupid about a vast array of subjects isn't the best strategy.
I felt personally attacked.
Yeah. Don't. Hey, it's okay. We'll talk after. We'll do a show, Jiffy. We can talk you off the edge. Okay. Wolf had something that I'm not going to read out. Sorry, Wolf. That was a bit too much. Leslie Rohrer says, by definition, every binary is a system. Canis Major, Canis Minor are the 2 components of Cirrus's system. Did you know that? It's not. Mr. Eman says, Flurf citations contradict Flurf claims. Indeed, that is the first law of Flurf. Wolf is a new member at Newton. Thank you, Wolf. And then let's see, we've got Steve 6464.
All right, here.
Oh, no. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Here it comes.
See here, even on your globe model, there's a magnetic disturbance in that area.
Where?
Right here, over Africa.
Where?
That's not Africa. That's South America.
Wait, where's the magnetic disturbance?
Compass goes.
Yeah, she was pointing at this pink part right here.
Yeah,
That's not Africa. That's South America.
Are you trying to type compass goes berserk?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep trying.
All right.
Yeah, BIZZZK.
My computer is slow.
All right. Got Zach Anderson from Compass Real Estate.
And it's spelled BERSERK.
Oh,
There you go.
Come on. This was fun, Jiffy.
Hey, I'm a nice person. I try to help
All
people out.
All right.
Now I know what you're thinking, but I haven't cleaned up the cheese whiz from last time.
There was a long time ago. There was a place. There we go. African country. There was a.
The African country where compasses go haywire.
Yeah. So in Central Africa, like these are the reasons that I chose this. I mean, it was.
All right, let's see the measurements.
I'm looking for the poles, like I told you last time. I know you guys don't care what your poles are. You don't think you need them. There's not any measurements. I'm doing it off of like just
blind
evidence
faith.
Here and there.
No, blind faith is the words you're looking for.
No, I'm doing it off of what other people say. Like the guy, he flies over it. There's evidence of in the area.
So we asked for magnetic disturbances, and that was a long time, and you didn't have any in the end.
Yeah, like the guy said that there was a magnetic disturbance in the area. That's why I'm looking for the poles. There should be some evidence of where these poles are.
Yeah, I already covered
Magnetic
how we get them.
disturbance in the area? No, you didn't. You didn't give me a location.
Yeah,
What's
0 to
beneath Polaris?
90 degrees
You
north
can't
latitude.
assign a number until you have a starting
I
point.
told you how to do that. I went through it
No,
step by step.
No,
didn't-
you
it went
use
over
a
your head like this.
number
Woo!
to
Over
go
your head.
around it.
Over your
You
head.
use a number, a fictitious number, to go around
No.
to say you found an
Measurements. It
equator.
was based on measurements, Marissa, not
You
fictitious
can't-
numbers.
So you're measuring to Polaris and
No.
then moving at 45 degrees.
No, not to Polaris.
Then what are you
missed.
measuring?
You missed. I was very specific about what you were measuring to, and it wasn't.
You can't measure
to
an
Polaris.
equator until you find.
I wasn't
points
talking
to
about the
start.
equator either.
I don't care. Believe whatever you
It went
want.
over your head. I got it. All right, Jiffy. What do you got? Something else there?
Oh,
You want to
like,
get back
want
to
me
your presentation? She got off
Yeah.
track here with the magnetic disturbance that she couldn't find.
No, I'm telling you why I think that my magnetic pole is there. He asked me what my evidence was.
Yeah.
That's my evidence.
Yeah.
The ground formation, the way water avoids the area, the way the stars rotate above it,
But
the
stars
guy
don't
flying
rotate above
over. How do you know? How do you know?
it. Centuries of celestial navigation confirmed. that,
Really?
yes.
Then what's underneath Polaris? If there's centuries of celestial navigation, we should know what location is directly below Polaris.
Yeah, we know. It's about 30
And-
nautical miles away from the geographic North Pole.
But you can't find the North Pole until you have evidence.
But I already told you how, but you missed it.
But no,
even
you
pay
didn't give me any
you
evidence.
paid zero attention to it.
You're asking me for evidence of a magnetic disturbance, but you can't give me any
Nope,
evidence.
I
of a
did. I
location for your
specifically
pole.
gave you. I
No,
specifically
you
gave it to
gave
you,
me.
and you didn't
You
understand.
gave
But that's
me
okay.
measurement.
Here we go.
You gave me a measurement.
Here's back to Jiffy.
All right.
So we were talking about the dome before we got right back to the.
Right. Okay.
Magnetic stuff.
Why do I claim there's a dome?
No, like-
Because of.
oh.
Because
I thought you were
of
asking like. Okay, sorry.
Okay, the reason I claim that there is a dome because we have equal and opposite double rainbows and we cannot make rainbows in the house, as I have told people and showed McToon, it's not possible. You can't make a rainbow in the house without something reflective. So light must refract and reflect. And since we have equal and opposite double rainbows, 360 equal and opposite double rainbows, then the light must be reflecting off two different mediums with two different properties to return the opposite color pattern. So what causes equal and opposite double rainbows on your model if it's just water and light?
The light going through the water droplet twice, essentially. I have a link. I can
Then
go
why
to.
can't we make them in the house with just water and light?
Well, I don't know if we can't. I haven't actually done it myself, but I'm like other people have made rainbows inside. Like
No, they
using-
haven't.
Yeah, they have. Like using
No,
just
to make a
water.
rainbow inside. This is why we have prisms to begin with. Cut glass to create the effects so that we can study them inside, because you can't make a rainbow inside without something reflective. You need a reflective surface. Light must refract and reflect to split the light.
Yeah, it happens within the water droplets in the air. It's amazing.
No, it doesn't. If you can't
Yes,
move
it
the
does.
water from inside or from outside to inside, you're missing a component. Outside, I have air, water, light, something reflective, rainbow anywhere. Inside, I have air, water, light, nothing reflective equals no rainbow.
You've never seen water reflect
So,
things. Amazing.
Clearly, something reflective is surrounding us. We live inside of an enclosed system.
You've never seen water reflect.
No, I've never seen a rainbow made in the house, which is water and light.
So you've never seen water reflect things.
Sure.
Oh yeah. So water can reflect and refract.
Yeah, but not simultaneously,
Why not?
because they both depend on angle.
Why not?
They both depend on angle.
Yeah, can't they happen at different parts of the water droplet?
Not if you don't move. If you
That doesn't
view
make any sense. That's just more insanity, Marissa.
if you view a rainbow, right? You don't move. The water isn't changing, but you still see equal and opposite double rainbows. Which What's causing the change in that?
Yeah, it makes no sense. All right, Jiffy, what do you got?
Makes no sense to me either, since you can't make one in the house.
Just some experiments of people making rainbows inside using just light, water, and a glass.
Can we put that in? That's not really a rainbow.
Well,
That's
That's not?
not really a rainbow.
Wow, it's not a rainbow now. Amazing.
well, I don't know where to go from here. Like you said, make a rainbow inside. Here's experiments making a rainbow inside. I mean, you can use CDs as well.
That's reflective. A CD is reflective.
And refractive, both.
You
So,
guys
in
say that
fact-
outside.
In
Look,
fact,
you guys
the
say that
specific
outside-
properties,
You
the
guys say that
properties
outs-
of the plastic that they
Hungry
use
bear.
for the CD is selected because of its refractive properties.
I don't care about the CD. We're talking about just water and light. Just water and light.
Well, would
Yeah.
you accept one in a glass, or do you
It's
not like the
going.
glass?
It's going through this medium right here, and then it's going through a medium again.
So Marisa, maybe it would help if you were to draw for us a diagram of how you think rainbows work.
Rainbows. The light must slow.
No, just
during
draw a
refraction.
diagram. So draw
I'm
a
not
diagram
drawing
of.
anything from me.
Oh, you can't. Got it. Okay.
No,
Yeah, there's
dude,
no
you can look
diagram
up.
that would work. It doesn't work, does it? It's just more
Rainbows
ridiculousness.
require refraction and reflection.
Yeah, they both happen inside the water droplet. Not a problem
Then,
at all.
why can't we take the water from outside, bring it inside, and get the same effect?
Yeah, we can. I showed you that before.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can't without something reflective.
Yeah,
it
the
has to
water
go
is the
through
reflect.
two mediums.
Yeah, so draw the
It has to-
diagram. Draw the diagram of the inside version that you think is happening, so that we can all review your claim.
You have to have something reflective.
No, just to draw a picture of what you think is going on.
I'm not drawing a picture for you right
Oh,
now.
because you can't. Okay.
Light must refract and reflect
Yeah,
to
that's what
produce a
happens.
rainbow.
And that's what happens inside a water droplet.
Then why can't we make them inside?
Because you can.
We can.
You
Well,
can't.
Why do you just keep saying you can't? Well, because we can.
Because if we can, they would be made everywhere. They would be made in the shower, they would be made in the kitchen, they would be made anywhere water is made, like we have them outside.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
I think that you misunderstand an awful lot of the physics involved. Plus,
I
people,
think you
plus people
misunderstand
don't
that
like-
it has to refract and reflect.
Yeah, we got it.
produce a
People
rainbow.
don't like wet carpet. That's another problem.
Oh my fucking God, seriously?
Yeah, people don't like that. Having wet carpet.
Then prove it another way. I showed you an example on an awning where there's a shadow and then past it is the rainbow.
here's-
Put a light
here's-
under the awning.
I will once again say it is perfectly fine to have a reflective surface inside the house that is a flat reflective surface.
We're talking
when-
about water and
I'm
light.
not done.
Your
Yeah, I'm
model
not done.
says
I'm not done. I'm
that
not
you
done.
can take just
I'm not done.
water and light
I'm not done.
and bring it inside
Yeah, I
and
can-
make a rainbow.
Yep.
So do
Just
it.
be quiet.
Bring water,
Be quiet
make a
while I
rainbow
talk.
inside with nothing reflective.
Close your mouth.
No, I'm not. You guys
Oh,
asked
okay.
me on here. I've showed you.
I mean, just
where
just
the
to
guy had a
really enjoy a
reflective
chuckle at the
surface.
ridiculousness is really why.
I showed you the one example that you have of somebody making a rainbow in the house. The
That's all I
one
need.
example.
All I need is one to disprove you. That's all I need.
But he has a reflective surface. He
So?
has a reflective ceiling.
Yeah.
The
so
point is light. Excuse me. The point is light has to refract and reflect.
yeah, inside the water
So
droplet.
So you can't have a reflective ceiling
Why
and
not?
say you're proving,
Why not?
because that's kind of what we're trying to cut out to prove that it doesn't need reflection.
Well, it does need reflection. Inside the water droplet, it needs reflection. But if you
Then-
are you saying
Then
that
if he has
I
a
just
metal
wanna be clear.
ceiling, is that telling you that?
well, it's not a metal
is that-
ceiling. It's an insulation that's got a foil surface on it. There, it's
but
not a
I
metal
showed you
ceiling.
how it's.
So,
but
so
I showed you
that's
how
why I'm
it's
asking
reflective.
you and why you're so scared to actually draw a diagram of how it works. So let me show you.
I'm not
what
drawing a diagram right now on this freaking
Yeah,
podcast.
I know, because you can't do it because you can't.
No, because
actually-
I can't get it to the screen. I
So
don't
I-
have a camera.
So Well, there's a camera right
Oh
now
my
we're
God.
looking at. Right, so here's what you do is you take a piece of paper, right? Right
Oh
here.
my God.
This is
Seriously.
there's a piece
Can
of
I
paper
go back
right
to
here,
talking
right
to
here.
the other guy?
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. I will draw a picture of the room while you talk to
No,
Jiffy.
why
Go ahead.
don't you go in your kitchen and why don't you get me a video?
Go ahead. Shh. Talk to Jiffy. Go ahead.
Just water and light, right?
Go ahead, Jiffy.
Why don't you
Go
go
ahead,
in your
Jiffy.
shower and get me a video?
Jiffy, you want to share your screen?
Oh yeah, let me bring up my presentation again.
Okay.
Like we keep getting off track.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't like being on track. It's hard for her.
They
All right.
just show me an example that doesn't have the one thing you're trying to cut out. Like we're trying to do the dial.
Yeah, I got
dial
rid of the
moves.
dome. There's no dome. There you go.
There is a dome. Clearly,
There's no
something
dome
No,
in
there's
the
not.
garage
Like
here.
this.
So all right.
is surrounding us.
No, there's not even a dome above us, like outside. Like,
No,
and I can show you that. Like, just to name drop someone, Mr. Sensible had his Mage 2 balloon go up to like 34,000 meters or something like that, and there's no dome. Like, there's no dome visible.
Clearly, something surrounds us that's reflective.
Well, yeah, there is water in the atmosphere.
No, like there's physical water surrounding you.
That's what you say.
Yeah, I like to call them clouds.
We are inside of a bubble.
A
And the
bubble,
equal-
like
Yeah,
is it?
a sonoluminescence bubble. 360-degree equal and opposite double rainbows show you the outline of that bubble. I've given you experiment for existence, an explanation for existence. I've given you observation that backs it up, because as that bubble expands, that same space is in between all equal and opposite double rainbows. And then scripture to back it up. The first 3 lines of the Bible describes it perfectly. So you live inside of a dome in a bubble. There's two surfaces.
I'm not sure the Bible is great evidence, because it also says that donkeys talk, and I don't
Oh,
believe donkeys talk.
Dude, don't get me started on the Bible.
Like,
I'm just saying that at the first 3 lines, this dude says that it's true. The first 3 lines of that book describe the sonoluminescence bubble.
All right. I drew my
We're not talking to you
my drawing
anymore.
here just for reference. So when we get to it. So all right, go ahead. Go ahead, Jiffy.
yeah, well, I was actually raised as a Christian, but I stopped believing quite a while ago.
I don't care what you believe.
Well, I was going to say, I know what the first verses of the Bible are. Like,
They
pretty much by heart.
describe the yeah, God spoke sound through water over the deep, created light. That's the sonoluminescence. Sound through water creates light.
okay,
So if
But-
you
yeah,
want to
but-
claim the Bible is true, your motto is right there.
well, I don't claim the Bible's true. And
Well, then
there are even verses in the Bible that say, like, God sits upon the
I don't
round
care. I don't
sphere of
care
earth,
about the
like-
Bible. I'm just saying that if
You
you're
keep
So you know
citing
what?
it.
So why'd you bring it up?
Yeah,
Why'd you bring it
keep
up?
bringing it up and then say you don't care about it. That makes no sense. That's more
because you
insanity.
do.
More insanity.
You
for me.
do. You say that book is true. So if you're gonna say
Who
that book
does?
is you did. You said
Jiffycones? Jiffycones says
no.
so?
You. Big Tune.
Yeah, well, that's
You.
figurative talk there.
Me too.
It's not a science book. It'd be ridiculous to think that's a science book.
But the science is backed up by the scripture that you
No.
claim is the voice of God.
No, it's just figurative. Yeah, you
So
can't
the
take
whole
it
book
literally.
is figurative.
Yeah,
No
can't
wonder
take
you
that
got all
literally.
those pagan sun god relics behind you.
That makes no
Oh yeah,
sense.
man walks on the moon. That's
makes no
that's a real
sense.
pagan. That's a real pagan symbol right there. Man walks on the moon.
What are all those craters named after?
Doesn't matter. None of it mattered. What they're named after doesn't change the reality.
Even
that
the
there
speed
thinks
of
the
light. Even the speed of light is a tribute to Orion.
moon. What the hell is even that?
The speed of light
speed
is
of-
like 186,700 meters
No,
per second.
it's
It's about
200.
It's about 300,000.
It's the same as the big pyramid in Giza, the lat line for the big pyramid in Giza. It's a tribute to Orion that pyramid
What
is
the-
built directly under.
What the?
It's the same number. The speed of light is the same number as the lat line for the pyramid in Giza.
What?
It's all pagan sun god worship.
Three.
Helios,
300,000 kilometers per second is what?
the number assigned to the speed of light.
300,000 kilometers per
It's-
second.
It's 200 something. It's 299,000. Is the exact same number as the lat
Exact same
line
number.
as the lat line for the big pyramid in Gaza.
Exact same.
Yeah, exact same. They didn't even one digit off.
Not even one digit off. All right, let's.
That's quite clean. Let's verify.
That is let's see.
It's all pagan sun god worship.
And somehow that
No way.
That is what?
No fucking way. Oh my
who's in
God.
the background there? Is that you, Jiffy, or is that
That might be me.
No,
I
didn't take-
I hear talking?
I'm
All right,
yeah,
let me see here. I'm looking.
think I'm accidentally
looking for-
restreaming the. I'm not even
All right,
sharing the.
which pyramid are you talking about?
The big pyramid in Giza, the
The
middle
big-
one.
The middle one, the big pyramid in Giza. What's it called?
I don't know.
Dude, I fucking missed a shotgun. He's coming out the door.
All right, I muted the stream I have playing back. Like I had it
No,
really quiet.
I hear
just to
I hear
try to-
somebody talking in the background.
Oh, that's my brother playing Call of Duty now.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that.
all right. I don't know where offhand the pyramid is in Giza.
The Great Pyramid of Giza coordinates 29.9792 degrees north and 31.1342 degrees east.
Okay, so
Now
read
look
that.
up the speed of light.
Speed of light 299,792,458.
What
meters
was the
per
number
second.
he said?
Giza.
The Pyramid of Giza 799792 degrees north.
Oh, it's not right. You're off,
Not
Marissa.
exact.
You're off. You said not even one digit off. and
Speed
it's
of
off.
light. It's a big pyramid.
You said
Yeah, the
not
Great
even one
Pyramid of
digit
Giza.
off, and it's more than one digit off. Oh dear. Oh
I'm
dear.
gonna read this right here. I googled speed of light.
299,792,458.
The Great Pyramid in Giza's latitude 29.9792458 degrees north perfectly matches up with the speed of light, which is 299,792,458 meters per second in a vacuum.
But
You
is
see that?
yeah, okay, your citation
that?
your citation makes the claim, but now Jiffy
I'm
actually
just,
hold on. That's just your
it's
citation.
pagan sun god worship. I just Googled it.
Yeah, so the actual the apex of the pyramid is 299,791,750. Not the same. Your website is just making the
No,
claim, but it's wrong.
It says it matches up
But
perfectly
it's wrong.
with
But
the
it's wrong.
latitude
But it's
line.
wrong. But it's
The
wrong.
latitude line.
But it's wrong.
Yeah, and it's wrong.
The
Yeah.
latitude line.
Yeah. That random website that you cited is wrong, Marissa. Just because you desperately want it to be right doesn't make it magically right. It actually is wrong.
Fucking right there.
Yes, on that website that has incorrect data.
It's all fucking
Yeah, it's
sun god
all
worship.
it's all wrong.
Either God is Orion and the speed of light just happened to match that, or
It
you know,
doesn't match,
pagan
though.
sun god worship,
It
and you got all
is
the
wrong.
relics right back there on the wall.
But it's wrong, Marissa. That's the thing.
Uh,
Like
I
everything
didn't
that
set
you
the lat
say,
lines.
just like
Yeah.
everything you say,
All I did
your
was
data is
Google it.
wrong. Everything you do is wrong. How
It's the
are
one
you
that
so
pops the
perfectly
fuck
wrong
up.
about everything?
Do you read that? It's the one that fucking pops up. Can you
But-
read that?
No, not at
Can you
all.
read
But
that?
but your website is wrong
There.
anyway.
Can you read that?
No, but it's wrong anyway. Don't you
Um,
understand, Marissa? That website is just making the claim that you desperately want to be true, but that website is wrong.
Well,
And do you also know that they did not use meters per
sorry.
second? They did not use meters per second when they built the pyramids. Meters weren't invented yet. Do you know that?
I don't care about that.
Well,
I'm
you don't care
saying
about
that now the
But it
speed
doesn't.
of light, which they cannot pinpoint a photon, which we talked about last time.
Oh my gosh.
So if they can't pinpoint a photon to determine its initial speed, and its ending speed and then the distance it traveled over that time, they can't determine
gosh.
speed because speed is distance over time. So if they can't do that, they just assign the number, which is the Great Pyramid in Giza,
But it's not.
and you got all your relics back there for your pagan sun god worship.
I don't have any pyramids back here, actually.
No, you
Exactly
got all the
zero.
other relics.
I have
There's no difference
I have
between
exactly
that.
0 pyramids back here.
No,
Did
but
you
you
know
got a
that?
spaceship right there.
Yeah, but that's not a
What's
pyramid.
what's one of the spaceship's names? Orion.
No, none of that.
Yeah.
I have Saturn. Saturn
Got
5 is over there.
You got Apollo, Orion,
Yeah, Saturn.
Helios.
Saturn. It's the
Saturn's
one.
another. Saturn's
Yeah.
another pagan sun god.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturn's another pagan sun god worship thing.
Yeah, but it has
It's all
nothing to do
pagan
with.
sun god
But
worship.
it has absolutely nothing to do with any of these topics, actually. Just because
Yeah,
you
none of
chose,
it matches
somebody
outside.
chose the name for a rocket ship, doesn't actually change physical reality.
I'm just telling you, if it walks like a duck,
But it
looks like a
doesn't.
duck,
But it doesn't. What does
it's
walk like a duck
probably pagan
is
sun god
is
worship.
that we can actually measure that the Earth is a sphere. There's the duck that is
How?
walking.
How?
Oh my gosh. How? Well, I personally did it myself 4 times.
Well,
But you won't let me explain
sundials
it.
do not function on a spherical object.
Oh,
So why don't you hold
they,
up?
they
Sure they do.
Why
absolutely
don't
do.
you hold up a spherical object and show us how sundials work on it?
They work very well on this.
Then show us. Show
why
us.
would,
You got a
why
globe
would you
right back
even
there.
say such a crazy thing? Oh yeah, because you're crazy.
You got a globe right back there. Why don't you pull one of them out and show us how it works?
All right.
Yeah, pull out a globe.
Yeah, pull
All
out a
right.
globe.
Steve6464 says, Marissa, how many stars make a system?
It depends.
More than one?
Yeah, but all the stars are only one.
There you
The
go.
only one that's 2 components is Sirius.
Well, except for all the
Yes.
others. The
No, those are
85% of
parts.
stars that are more than one. Lael says
Those are
Tune.
parts of the system.
Said Tune to be
That's why
fair.
Sirius is the brightest star in the sky because it's made up of 2 components.
But there's others that are made up of 2. Lael says, Tune to be fair,
No.
binary has many meanings. However, when we're talking about stars, we have to use the definition used in astronomy, which is a great point in astronomy. It has a very specific.
You think
Definition.
astronomers can't be wrong? They project all of their stars onto a dome whenever you go to a planetarium. They can't be wrong.
They project their stars onto a celestial sphere.
They project it onto a dome. If we're looking
So now,
out,
according to astronomers, because they get to create the jargon for their own, their own,
Apollo, Orion, yeah,
sorry,
Capricorn.
they get to define the jargon for
Aquarius,
their
yeah.
own industry. According to astronomers, binary stars are stars that have 2 stars in the system or 2 components in the system. Eric
Yeah,
Burns,
made up of 2.
Eric Burns, who is an astronomer, says 56% of massive white dwarf stars are in binary systems. And he gives
See, that's another issue.
and he gives a citation. He goes, Killick et al. 2023, DOI, and he gave the actual DOI. I will pull it up.
Well, that's
We can
another.
look at the DOI.
That's another point that I'd like to make. If all of these stars are, light doesn't need a medium to travel through, it can travel for miles and miles and miles, but
Yes.
only our sun's light is the only light that lights up space. Everybody
No,
else's stars,
No, our
Why?
star does not light up space either.
it doesn't.
No. my
Then
goodness.
how do we get sunlight?
Because
Does
the
it-
sun, our sun is the closest star.
Holy crap.
Because of how
But it
close
doesn't
is.
light up space.
The insanity. The
No, like,
actual
because-
insanity.
Space
have
is
to
both
bounce-
not a vacuum and a vacuum at the same time.
Oh
It
my
needs to be a vacuum for your
Gosh.
units of measurement, but it's
Is it
not a
vac-
vacuum.
pure insanity.
In this
How
case,
can you be so consistently insane?
Marissa,
Well, let
in
me
this
ask you
case,
a question.
vacuum, hey, let me just say this, like a vacuum in this case is a low pressure system.
You
Like,
can't
where
have
there's
2
a place-
systems next to each other without a barrier. So it's either a vacuum or it's not a vacuum. Can't be
Currently,
half and
you
half.
can have two systems next to each other without a barrier. There's
No,
no
they
problem
wouldn't.
with
They
that.
they would combine.
No. they
Okay,
would not.
it is a pressure. No, it is a pressure gradient. There's not like a hard line barrier. It's like the Kármán line is just like an arbitrary thing. Like that's where we say that's the final place where air is even breathable or
No,
something
no,
like
no. It's above that was an estimation that it's not possible for a lift-based flight. Is about what it means.
No, I'm talking about light itself. You guys say that the light travels from the sun almost 93 million miles, and it changes direction off the moon
All right.
200 and some thousand miles, and then that light is able to come down and reflect off water.
All right.
You guys
here
say
is-
that
all
light
right,
doesn't
shh,
have
shh.
to.
All right.
No,
listen
let
up.
me
listen
finish
up,
what I'm
Marisa.
saying.
Oh,
No, let
okay.
me finish what I'm saying. So then light can then reflect off water, but it doesn't make any shadows or change direction off anything else in the path between them. That's what you guys believe. But it
Well,
doesn't
how do-
light up the space in between it. But light here, we see travels in straight lines, diminishes with the laws of inverse square. So if it's a constant here, then it should be a constant there and react the same way if it doesn't require a medium to travel through.
And it does because in space there's not a whole lot of it to bounce off of between, let's say, Earth and the
Oh.
moon. There's
Oh,
not
wait,
a whole
wait,
lot
wait,
there.
wait a minute. So all of those asteroids that we keep hearing about flying by and all of those satellites that are up there that are metal, don't reflect any of the light, make it change direction at all. Like it don't make any shadows or silhouettes of anything in between. Like
Well,
we
like the-
see here.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
It's so
So-
insane.
you actually can see satellites like reflecting the light from the sun. Like
They don't make a
in high school-
shadow. They don't make a shadow. Here, a strand of hair makes a shadow. They don't make a shadow. And then during eclipses, how do you get a shadow that is less than the object making the
Yeah,
shadow?
that's not actually a problem. Just your ignorance is the problem, I think.
No, they don't. A shadow is an object in the path of the light. So the shadow of that object can never be smaller than the object itself.
How is it
Yes, it
that
can.
every
No,
single
we can't.
thing is wrong? Everything.
Give me an example.
How do
Give
you
me an
get-
example.
people have. Oh my gosh. How can
Yeah,
you get
Mr. Sensible did
everything
this.
It's just the moon's light that you say the diameter of the moon is like over 2,000 miles, but the shadow it produces is only 70 miles wide.
Yeah,
Seriously?
the source of the light, the sun, is much, 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 much larger. So it can sort of, because there's like more area. Like I'm trying to describe this in like a good way.
Like, yeah, to
because
a child.
yeah, like
Yeah.
exactly. Like since the light is bigger, it can reach more behind the object. So the
excuse
numbra,
me,
penumbra, like
Have you turned on your phone flashlight? Do you realize that light travels in straight lines and it can't bend around an object?
yes, it does. That's called refraction.
Not if
Like
there's
light-
nothing to refract it. Like a shadow is an object in the path of the light, and that shadow made is the object itself when it's cast onto like the ground or whatever. So your shadow outside will never be any smaller than you. It can be longer, it can be a little bit fatter depending on where the sun is, but it will never be any smaller than you because you are the object in the path of the light. So a moon's diameter being 2,000 miles wide, according to your model, makes a shadow 70 miles wide.
Yeah, you don't understand the geometry of it. But here we have.
No, I don't,
here we
because
have-
light
Well, of
travels
course
in
you don't.
straight lines
Yeah,
and
you
will
don't.
never
You don't.
change.
Yeah, you don't have. Yeah. All right. So here, in addition, we identify 4 outliers in transverse velocity and detect rapid.
Why
rotation from
are
5
you
objects.
talking to me? I thought I
Our
was
results
talking to
show
him.
that 56% of M, approximately equal to 1.3 M. Dot now. Oh, yeah, that's the mass of our sun. Ultramassive white dwarfs form through mergers. That would be binary stars. This fraction is
But
significantly
none
higher than
of
expected from
them-
the default binary population. Synthesis
None of that
calculation
light
using-
that you think travels for light years lights up anything in between, and we don't see none of that energy.
What was in between that it should light up?
Other all those meteorites or whatever the hell,
Me-
asteroids, whatever,
Meteorites. Oh dear.
whatever you guys think
Oh,
are,
dear.
is
All
up
right.
there.
Anyway, the point of this is showing that 56% of ultramassive white dwarfs form through mergers. That would be binary stars. So an astronomer, not you not being an astronomer, your opinion on the topic is completely and totally useless.
No,
This
I know the
astronomer's
definition of
opinion on the
binary.
topic is actually the one that matters. He says that
Do you
56%.
mean this abstract?
56%.
Abstract. So I'm supposed to listen to that abstract. Okay.
Do you
okay,
know what an
I understand.
abstract is when you're looking at a
Yeah,
paper?
it means not real.
No, that's not what the abstract of a paper means. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. You are more insane every second of the day.
Can
An
we go
abstract
on?
is the overview of it. That's what this is.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
they got 25 massive stars that they can see. Okay.
Not 25.
Yeah.
Much more
Well,
than
where's-
25.
Where's the
But-
light?
but
Like what light did they study?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
where's
Anyway,
the
the
light?
point is 56% of
The
stars
point is anybody could
binary.
write that shit.
binary.
The
So
point is
this
anybody could
is
write
an
that
actual
shit.
citation. I know it's weird because you don't know what a citation is, but that was a citation that actually would be something that you'd cite to support your
But
claim.
it doesn't
But
give you any evidence for citation.
Well, you never have any evidence for anything. You just talk and talk and talk and make claims and then say "nuh-uh" when other people give evidence. That's the problem.
No,
That's why it's so
light
funny to have you
Backs
on.
up my claim. Light backs up my claim.
No, it doesn't.
Light
None
will
of
never
what you say.
change.
None of
Light
what you
must
say.
refract and reflect to produce a rainbow. Light travels in straight lines and diminishes with the laws of inverse squares. So light, if it's a constant, which you claim,
The speed of light.
you claim it's a constant,
Yeah.
but it's not a constant
in the same
because the
medium.
fragment,
Within the
then
same
you can't-
medium.
then light should never reach us, because if it's a constant here and we see light diminish with the laws of inverse squares, then it has to be a constant there. If it's not a vacuum, and light would never reach us 93 million miles away.
That makes absolutely no sense. But I do appreciate your dedication to not making sense.
All right, whatever.
All right, we've got Pat in the chat says first entry in Webster's dictionary, binary, something made of two things or parts, specifically binary star.
Part A and part B made up of two components. Yeah, binary.
Leslie
binary.
Rohrer says yes.
Are the other ones made up of two components
Yes, they
themselves,
are.
or
Yes,
are
they
they
are.
part of systems?
Leslie Rohrer says
Yes,
yes.
two
but
stars.
In every case,
Two stars.
binary implies a system. Every operator other than unary implies a system. I mean, just the insanity. I love it. I love it, Marissa, and your dedication. Stringer News 1. Stringer News
How
1
did
says.
Cirrus?
Yeah. Shh. Stringer News 1 says, is type AB blood made of two components? Oh, now she doesn't talk. You ask her a question, then she doesn't talk. Caucasian Sensation says, MC2
I'm not talking about blood. I'm talking about Cirrus being a binary star. I don't care about anything else. You asked me for evidence of what my model. Cirrus is one of my inflection points. Cirrus is my inflection point. When
yes,
that
okay.
sound hit that inflection point, there was a degree of separation, which separated into two components. Binary.
That
It's
doesn't
made
make
of
any sense.
one, but it's two.
But there's lots
Like-
of there's lots
Like
of binary.
grapes, like grapes on a vine. It's still one,
What the
but
hell?
it's made of a two component. It's still, if grapes are on a vine, right? You have two grapes on a vine, it's still considered one because it's still connected to that. But it's two components. It's made of two grapes. Like you need air,
How
water,
did grapes
and fire.
come into this conversation? Jiffy,
It's
explain to me.
it's an example. It's an example. It's an example
Oh my god.
of how one can be considered two. It's an example.
That's it. That's craziness. All right.
At that inflection point where the sound entered this medium, it split into two, and I explained that to you last
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Which then, like a bar magnet, once that degree of separation happened, then it had to create the negative and the positive. I told you that last time.
Yeah, you made that claim last time. All right. Caucasian Sensation said that your volume is too high, and I am not loud enough. And partly the reason, hold on, shh. You're making it last longer by interrupting me. Jiffy, part of the reason why is because you're actually kind of soft, and I can't selectively turn you up or somebody else down. So I don't know if you can get closer to the
I don't
mic.
know how to turn this down.
Yeah, I was talking to Jiffy. So Keith Milner says both Google and Webster definitions of binary include binary star. Flat Earth Denier says show her the etymology of the word binary. Oh, she won't. She thinks that the binary numbering system applies. That's incredible. Galaxy Hunter says Lyra Epsilon is known as the double-double, 2 pairs of binary stars that revolve around each other. It's not just a binary star, it's 2 binary stars. And that was Galaxy Hunter's first super chat. Well,
Then show me where each one of these stars are made up of 2 components themselves, not 2 different stars. 2 components themselves. Like Sirius is made up of A and B.
2 separate stars.
But it's just 1 star.
No, it's 2 separate stars.
No, it's just 1 star. That's why it's called Sirius.
Marissa, it's actually 2 different stars.
No, it's made up of 2 components.
You are
Otherwise,
insane.
they would name it. They would
Purely
name
insane.
it 2 different stars.
You are absolutely insane. Lord Illuminous Pooh says this potato is baked. Oh, that's a person. So dumb.
Then we go. Can we go on?
Alan Bupre
Like
says,
I said, if you have to resort to calling people names or making fun of them or whatever, you lost the debate.
all right, yeah.
Light
So
and water will
right.
never change.
Alan Bupre says, Marissa, have you ever been wrong about something?
Sure, I was wrong about the globe. I was wrong about the flat Earth, and then now I'm working on this.
Keith Milner says, Gish galloping, interrupting, and not letting the other person answer a question. All hallmarks of someone who knows they are wrong.
Well, if you're wrong, then prove me wrong.
We have.
Get light.
We have.
Make a rainbow in the house.
We have.
Make a rainbow in the
Stringers
house.
One says, shout out for the West Pole. Where is the West Pole in your model?
I don't know. You can't
On your
like
model.
assign
On your model.
north, south. You can't assign north, south, east, and west until you find those poles.
Yeah, where
So it
did you?
depends on where the poles
Yeah,
are.
where are the poles on your model? The West Pole specifically.
One is above the Eye of Africa. One is above East Warburton Crater in Australia.
The West Pole is above there.
Well, it depends.
But where's the
depends.
east? What about the East Pole?
That it's not an east and west because you cannot assign direction until you have a starting point.
Well, yeah. So,
So
get your
right
starting
now
point,
it's
and then where's the
positive and
direction?
negative. Right now it's positive and negative.
Patrick Butler, who's a flat earther on Facebook, says you need to stop interrupting McToon. You need to stop interrupting me, says Patrick.
Or maybe he's saying you need to stop interrupting.
I don't think so. Lord Illuminous Pooh says the moment she stops talking, her eyes glaze and she stops listening. That's exactly how she doesn't remember how I explained how to find the North Geographic Pole. It completely.
You gave me no information.
Exactly. That's my point. I gave you lots of information, and none of
No,
it
you
was,
didn't.
was recorded by your brain.
You repeated the same words over and over again.
Yeah, you didn't get it. Got it.
You're right.
Earthrise says,
those
I
same
think
words
we
mean
have
the same thing."
discovered bottom left. I don't know. This is top.
Can we go on? Do we need to do this? Can we
Yeah,
go
we
on?
need to
It's
do
10
this.
o'clock. I got things I got to do.
Yeah, we need to do this. Stringer News 1 says, which rule of Flurf is if you don't have a model, criticize other models badly?
You don't have a model.
That's an axiom.
You don't have a foundation.
That's an axiom.
You don't have a foundation.
Greg
You don't
Kotz says, hard for her to admit she knows SFA about reality.
Well, you can believe whatever you want. I don't care.
Yep.
I didn't come on here to convince you. You guys asked me back on here to explain more of my model. Fine. You
But you
believe me?
didn't.
Fine. You don't believe me? Light and water will never change.
Eon Dust
Can't make a
says,
rainbow in the house. Clearly something surrounds us that's reflected.
Eon Dust says, I think she might only have 256K of memory.
All right, let's
I don't
go.
know. I had an Apple IIc that had only 128K.
I don't care. Can we go on, please?
And you could only access the upper 64K through paging.
I
which
don't
really
care.
sucked.
Can we go on, please?
Javian Harris says, I sent a super chat with, but no message. It was Javian's first super chat, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I paid for super chats too, and he ignored them completely.
Actually, I totally covered them, but you don't have this
No.
thing where short-term memory gets converted into long-term memory. I even
Well,
made
it's
a
on
web
video,
page.
so everybody
made
can
a
go
web
back and
page
watch you.
answering all of your questions. It's on my website. You can just go to my website and search for your
Or
name.
people
You'll
can
find it.
just watch you dodge them.
And I have posted a few times. Eric Burns is wondering, is anyone cosplaying as Marisa? Because a week from today is Flurf cosplay. Did you know that?
No, and I don't care.
There you go. Dave Kircher says they say the definition of crazy.
Are we done? Are we done? Because I
I-
don't want to listen to this. I don't want to listen to this shit.
Okay.
Like you people can make fun of me behind my back. I'm not listening to that. If you're done and you're
okay.
not gonna let Jiffycones or Mikey, whatever the hell his name is, continue.
Well, no, you wouldn't.
Then
You
I'm
weren't
done.
letting him continue. So, I mean, you made it be done by
He
not
was
allowing
asking
people
me
to talk.
questions. So why don't you shut up and let me talk to him? Let him ask.
Ooh, Jiffy, are you ready, Jiffy?
Yeah, like has she had enough of fermented grapes or?
All right, yeah.
All right.
You
So,
gonna
like,
you gonna share your screen or you're
I'm
just gonna ask her the questions?
just gonna ask her the questions.
All right.
So like, you say this dome is like water and it's being held up there by the sound waves.
No, it's being held by sound. Not waves, but like sound. Like when the sound entered this medium, there was a degree of separation, and then that separation forced the other positive and negative poles. Like when you break a bar magnet in half, you still end up with positive and negative on both pieces. That's what happened. There was a break. So your center is made up of both positive and negative, negative, positive, positive, negative. So you have three components of the flat Earth model, which you need. You need an anode, a cathode, and an electromagnetic center. And the star in the center is made up of two components.
Oh, what? Well, I was gonna ask what two components, but I wanted to. All right. So sound travels in waves. Correct me if I'm wrong, McToon, but sound travels in waves. So
It indeed
that's what-
does travel in waves.
How do you know?
it's been measured.
Yeah, I'm something so basic. I'm not going to bother substantiating. I don't need to.
Okay, so you don't.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, so let's just. How do you think sound travels? Like in waves, or is it like a
Straight lines
beam
like
of-
everything else.
It didn't explain it.
Light travels in straight lines and spreads out, right?
Sound.
Same thing with
Sound.
Yeah,
right,
light and sound.
too.
Like,
Sound
but
too.
yeah, like light
It-
does
it
technically
travels
travel in
straight
waves.
line. No,
Like,
it
from what
travels
I've
in
read-
straight lines and
Hey,
spreads
hey,
out
hey,
like
Let
light
me
does.
just finish what I was saying. Like light does travel in waves, but the waves are really, 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 really tiny. So it is, for all intents and purposes, a straight line.
Then it's a straight line because that's the definition of straight. Light travels in straight lines
We're talking
and
about
diminishes
sound.
with the laws of
Sound,
inverse
sound.
squares.
Yeah,
Sound
let's
too.
get back to sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, sound also travels in waves. But like, how is this
Straight line.
sound, like, how's this sound keeping up this water or whatever you think is right there?
Well, that's the experiment. That's what's shown in the experiment.
What experiment?
The sonoluminescence experiment, when water goes or sound goes through water and creates a bubble. That expansion of the bubble, the space when it expands is the same space you see in all equal and opposite double rainbows. That's why I'm telling you that I gave you an experiment with observation that's proving that this is physically happening because we see the same thing in both places.
Okay, so the luminescence experiment you're talking about is on a very small scale. So how is that extrapolated to the bigger scale of it holding up however much water you think?
It's the same thing. You say it's the voice of God created this.
We
That's
don't say
what
that.
I'm giving it.
We
No,
don't
I'm
say
saying it. I'm saying it because the first three lines of the Bible, which you guys say is the word of God.
We're
Or
don't put words in our mouth. It's the one that
Yeah.
you're.
okay, so
I don't appeal to the Bible.
Christians say that book is the voice of God, the word of God. So if the first three lines of the word of God is described in the sonoluminescence experiment.
But
And there's evidence that, this is happening physically because we have 360-degree equal and opposite double rainbows. Then what is your explanation other than the sonoluminescence experiment?
My explanation for what exactly? Like,
How is that possible? How do we have 360-degree equal and opposite double rainbows with that same space in between all of them if it's not physically happening?
that makes no sense at all. I love the insanity. It's amazing.
You have an experiment and then you have observation. Is that not science?
This is just pure insanity is what this is.
Well, what's your definition of science?
Not what you're doing.
Observation
I'll start
and
with that.
experiment?
I'll start with
Observation
not what
and
you're doing.
experiment?
No,
I got an experiment
no,
and I got an observation.
no,
So what's your definition of
no.
science?
Yeah, it's something you need to falsify things. You need to test. It needs to be
I-
falsifiable. You need to try to falsify things.
I did, and it still leads back to that experiment.
Yeah, so you have a tiny little bubble in water that happens
Yeah.
and exists for milliseconds. So now you're saying that there's a bubble above us that's been in place for millennia. Makes no
I'm
sense.
telling you that rainbows show the outline of that bubble that expands.
Yeah, I've already falsified your claim.
But you didn't because you used an example with somebody with something reflective, which I showed you.
I falsified your
window.
claim that it cannot be sonoluminescence because sonoluminescence lasts for milliseconds. And the Earth has been in existence for millennia. So
Well, how do you know that?
how do I know what? That the Earth has been in existence for millennia? Because
Yeah.
we have documentation of it.
Yeah, where?
Oh my gosh. You think that asking for documentation of the Earth being in existence for a long time is actually a reasonable line of questioning? It is
No.
not. It is insanity. That's
Then
what
how
it
do
is,
you
Marisa.
know? Then how do
It
you
is
know?
pure insanity, and I love
Then how
your
do you know?
dedication to being insane.
Then how do you know? If it's been in existence for millennia, but you can't give me any evidence of it
I
being
don't
in
need to
existence
support
for millennia,
these
then
elementary
just
claims.
saying it's been in existence for millennia
There's no need to
doesn't
support
make
an
it in
elementary claim
existence
like this.
to millennia.
Nope. Absolute nuts. All right, go. I'm sorry. You reeled me in again. Jiffy, back to you.
yeah, so I kind of lost where we were. Something about solar luminescence holding up
Yeah.
the
yeah.
water above us.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this, like McToon said, the solar luminescence experiment only lasts for like milliseconds, a very small amount. So
Well, that's
been going-
our
hey,
sound.
hold
That's
on.
our sound. That could be a different sound.
Shush.
We don't know that. It's outside
Shut your
of this
face
bubble.
hole, Marissa.
Something
and open your
outside
ear
of this
holes.
bubble made a sound.
Okay, so that solar luminescence experiment only lasted for a couple seconds. Am I
The
muted?
fact that it's possible and that there's evidence that it's happening is science. You
No,
do
it's-
observation, experimentation, and then you apply the math. You guys do it backwards. You do the math, and then you
Oh my
don't
gosh,
have
you
an
have no clue. I love
experiment,
it.
and then you don't have any observation of that experiment.
Okay, so where is this sound that is holding up the waters above us coming from?
Outside of the bubble.
Outside of the bubble.
That's
How
not
far
science.
away do?
I don't know.
That's not science.
All right, so
I don't know.
right, so like this is my problem with flat Earth. Like, you don't have any answers to any like questions about even your own model. Like,
I'm
Okay.
answering your question.
No, you didn't.
I don't know how far away the sound is that entered the system because it entered the system before anything else did.
So you
Like
say
it was first.
that's not science.
That's the sonoluminescence experiment. The reason
That's
we
not
do
science.
experiments,
You
we
didn't
do
do an
them
experiment.
smaller. We do them small experiments to prove that they're possible, that things are actually taking place. And then we look for, evidence of those experiments happening. So once the sonoluminescence bubble expands, we see that same space in all equal and opposite double rainbows. And since you don't have an explanation for equal and opposite double rainbows on your globe
We absolutely
model,
do, of course.
then
100%.
It's water. It's water reflecting in the bubble, like the water droplet
the
twice.
Droplet, yeah.
Right, but we should be able to make them in the house
Yeah, we can.
because water would do that in the house too, but you
Oh, we
can't
can.
do that in
Oh,
the
we can.
house. You're one example. The
I've
dude
got
had a
multiple, but
reflective
for
ceiling.
reference,
and
here
the
is
whole point.
here's my diagram. You got the light source. You've got the water droplet here, the water droplet here. The light goes from here to the water droplet, reflects and refracts inside the water droplet, and then it goes to the observer. Now, for you
Then
think
if we
that
can
somehow
take it
the reflective
outside-
ceiling is involved. I have no idea how that might be involved, and you lack the capability of producing a diagram showing how you think it's involved. So we're just going to have a chuckle at your idea.
Because you can look up like how to make a rainbow in the house. You can make one with a bowl of water, a flashlight, and a mirror.
All
You
right,
have
well,
to have a
let's do
reflective
this.
surface.
Jiffy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the stuff from the audience.
I'm
Marissa,
gonna go then.
you just won't shut your face hole. So I'm just
It
going to
was
read
very
these,
nice to
and
see
you can flap your face hole all you want.
Nice
but
to, nice
Dave
seeing you
says
guys. Goodbye.
Dave Kircher
Bye,
says
Marissa. Take care.
they.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Pure insanity. But she is easily the most insane flat earther I've ever had. There is no comparison. So let me get
Yeah, Mallory is like a good kind of crazy. She's a funny kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Marissa is just
she's-
straight up crazy.
like to just bark out these things that are simply not true, and then we're like, well, send some evidence, and she can't. And then when you're like, well, can you send some evidence supporting your claim? When we say things like the Earth has been around for millennia, she's like, prove it. Like, wait a second. You say some ridiculous thing like the dome exists that nobody's ever seen or touched or felt or identified because of sonoluminescence, and that you accept, but saying that the Earth has been around for millennia is a problem that I need to support. I'm sorry, I do not need to support that.
Yeah, like off the top of your head, do you know how long a millennia is? Like, because
It's
I
a
don't.
thousand. It's
It's
a
like
thousand years.
I was going to say I think it's 1,000 years, but I could have sworn that was like an eon. But yeah, I'm not good with numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, how long ago was Cleopatra around? Like, how long? Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm pretty sure more than 1,000 years. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me read a few of the things, and then I'm gonna do an after show. So I'll read this, and then you can come for the after show, and we'll invite a few other people in. Dave Kircher says they say the definition of crazy is doing the same thing and expecting different results. I see MC2 and talk to people like this every week. I don't expect different results. I expect them to make a fool of themselves, and they deliver. Melodic Lyrics says, Marissa, let's see your model. I want to see the Corvette. Tired of hearing you say nuh-uh after zero counter argument. Well, her model is sonoluminescence, therefore dome. However that works. Caucasian Sensation, the Flurf reset is strong with this moron. How can one person be so wrong about so many things all at once? I don't get it. Like, no other flat earthers have the same the same position as her. Right? She's completely.
Recording stopped.
All right.
So I just want to say,
Yeah.
thank you for having me, and it's actually good to talk to you like in person, like after kind of trolling in your chat a little bit.
Yeah, I like your Pinky in the Brain quote in style quotes. Right? What
Yeah,
was
well,
the
maybe
what was
you
the
got-
one about Cheese Whiz?
Oh, I said, now I know what you're thinking, but I haven't cleaned up the cheese whiz from last time. So you can use that one. You can use all
Alright.
of the ones I say.
Like, how does she think that there are no self-facing shadows? How is it that that is even a thing in her mind, that she would reject something as simple to verify as that? I don't know. Sean Thomas says, glad I tuned in. This is amazeballs. Web Grow, a little rude, says the Earth is round just like Marisa, but she's not here. My goodness. All right, so in case you're wondering, I need to identify this. So I'm gonna post a link to, if you go to my website and search for Marisa, you can see. But she's pretty rude in emails to me, so I took off the kid gloves a bit this time. And there you can read some of the things that she said to me on by email. And to know that Marisa, nah, I'm not gonna pull any punches. I will happily read what people say about you because you're rude and a horrible person. So, Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review says Marisa, the magnetic version around the Eye of Africa is about 2 degrees. A magnetic variation. Yeah, she doesn't understand magnetism. She's like, if there is a north magnetic pole, then there must be no water there because water is diamagnetic. Without understanding the strength of the pole, like, in order for the magnetism to actually move that much water out of the way, it would have to be incredibly powerful, on the order of probably hundreds of Teslas. But she does, and then she's like, and then how can it possibly protect us from the sun's magnetic, the sun's radiation? Like, because you don't need that strong of a magnetic field. She just has no idea of how these things work at all, even in a vague sense of the word. BC Tony says, when Marisa explains something, what the rest of us see is angry ignoramus babbling nonsense. She is clinically delusional. Indeed she is. Ozymandias says, I just popped in. Oh, great. Crazy bug-eyed Nimrod lady is back. Yes, she is. Crashes. Dude, I haven't seen you forever. Says, can Marisa explain the digital sundial on her model? She can't explain anything on her model other than that she thinks that Sirius is the only binary star in existence, and that it's the center of rotation, and that somehow the center of rotation is over the Eye of Africa. Stringer News 1 says Marissa's operating system is divide by zero. Connell Silverfur says, simple question, and maybe it's off topic. But Marisa, can you provide a functional flat Earth map, or do you simply rely on cartoons and conspiracies? Well, definitely cartoons and conspiracies. She does say that the AE map is her preferred one. But I don't know how the AE map can have the North Pole over Africa. That makes no sense. So maybe an AE map centered on Africa? But then you don't get the convenient ice wall. There's no more ice wall, Marisa. I don't know how that works. The Rabbit says Marisa has won Top Left 2023. The champ is here. She cannot, as crazy as she is, she cannot steal that honor from CC. He won it fair and square. She has really needs to put out more, and it's not just 2 appearances that are, I mean, maybe, but people, when it's nomination time next year, you can vote for Marisa 2024, and we can see. Timbo Turtle, you don't get permanent bans from Facebook because you post fluffy kittens. Of course, yeah, she's permanently banned from Facebook, probably for a good reason. Anthony Fox says, I can't believe that natural selection hasn't caught up with her yet. Darwin Award tried. Kyle Silverfur says, Flurf cites anonymous pilot. Nothing new, it seems. Yes, that's her citation. Pilot LX, a guy that won't state his name. That's her citation. Where we have an actual peer-reviewed published paper by an astronomer. It's like, nah, that doesn't count. Many Karen says, can Marisa tell us when exactly it becomes impossible to get closer to 0? 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, 0. Lots of zeros, then 1. When does divided by 0 become a must? It doesn't. She doesn't get limits. That's the thing. She thinks that when you do a limit, you actually do jump to the end and divide by 0. She doesn't get that. She doesn't get, I mean, it's on the webpage. I did a couple things. When you divide by 0, you approach by different directions, right? If you approach from negative, if it's just 1 over x with x approaching 0, from negative, you get a different answer than if you approach from positive. And there's all sorts of other divide by zeros in limits. That's just a simple case. So, and here from Leslie Rory, yes, Leslie says, so she's also a liar. She's a flat earther, is she not? That makes her a liar. A response from Marisa to me, 4/9 of 2023. I want you to think about that first statement. Balloons made out of lead. See why we say you are stupid. And yes, Leslie was emailing with Marisa for a while. And yes, she did. She was in email, as you will see if you go to my website. She liberally applies the insults. Leslie says, MC, show her a picture of the sun. How is that an arc? Of course it's not an arc. She doesn't even look at the sun. Doesn't take any empirical measurements. She talks about experiments, but none of her experiments were about showing how the sun is an arc somehow. Insane. I like this one. Connell Silver versus Marissa's video shows curve. Toon's first law of Flurf is confirmed. Her source contradicts her entire premise. That would have been the video of the plane over the eye of Africa, right? And then Connell Silver for again says, why are all Flurfs illiterate? Well, they do. Yeah, they only cherry pick. That's all they do. David says, the Brothers of Night's Watch defined the secret location of the North Pole as directly under the center of celestial rotation, illuminated by only the arc lamp of Sauron. The arc lamp of Sauron. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Crispy AC Filters says, MC Toon, do her eyes look the same in the bedroom? So much passion. It must have happened. No. And no. Shovelhead Steve says it's learned absolutely nothing since last time. Correct? I'm fascinated to see what she thinks would happen in this room here with the reflective ceiling to cause the rainbow, right? You've got droplets here, you've got droplets there. This is well explained because when you look at the diagram of the water's path within a droplet, it reflects and refracts inside the droplet. But what does she think happening up here with the reflective surface? And usually flat earthers claim that that rainbows appear curved because the dome is curved. With a flat surface in the garage there, wouldn't the rainbow be flat? But it was curved. It doesn't work. Nothing of it works. That's why I kept asking her to draw it. I asked her last time to draw it. I've asked other Flurfs to draw it when they talk about the reflectives. None of them will ever draw what they think is actually happening. That's how dumb they are. They're so dumb that they think that you can just say things and that's all that you need to do. Like, they were gullible enough to believe it when some other flat earther said it. They just buy it. So Anthony Fox says rainbow seeks its own level. And David says no pot of gold equals no rainbow. Fool. Boo. Geez, you guys, that's a lot of super chats. Thank you so much. Sid Allman says double rainbow. Don't you see it, MC Toon? Double rainbow all the way. And last time she said there's no such thing as a triple rainbow, which we pulled up live, and she just nuh-uh. And her sonoluminescence thing with the double rainbow deal, I have no idea what she's getting at. It makes no sense. It probably makes sense to her, But I don't know if there's anybody else in existence that would see that. LB Stuff Things and More. Stuff and More says, MC, there's a video of a guy and his kid doing it. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. The rainbow with the reflective ceiling. She says that there's the reflective ceiling is there, and that's what's making it happen. That somehow that is causing the rainbow. It's a beyond me what she thinks is actually making it happen. So Facty says, how do you spell top left? Marisa. Sid Allman says, triple rainbows. Explain that, Marissa. Well, just like everything else, she just says fake or nuh-uh or that's not real. I don't know. Sean Thomas says, why are rainbows a perfect circle if flying? She would probably declare them to be fake as well. I don't know. You look down and you see a rainbow when you're flying. The whole circle. Baux 1 says, caution may contain traces of nuts. Very true. Minnie Karen says, okay, I want the name of the person who told her the Bible is the voice of God. She has a weird angle to it. She keeps saying, that's your thing. Like, hold on a second. I don't say that. Jiffy didn't say that. That he thought the Bible was something for flat Earth. Where did she get that from? I don't know. She just keeps putting it on everybody. And just because you accept the Bible doesn't mean that you accept all of every single word of it literally, which is what she's putting on it. So Bill McGuire says the very best way to learn is by being loudly wrong while people smarter than you are trying to explain things you don't understand. Bravo, Marissa. That's what you did. Melodic Light says Marissa's goalposts are motorized. Patrick Butler says, is she single? A woman after my own heart. Oh, Patrick, I'll get you her email address for you. Eric Burns says 56% of massive white dwarf stars are binary in systems. And then gave the DOI, which I pulled up the wrong one. He sent me the right one. Thank you for that. Plastic Citizens says MC Toon and Jiffycones you are brave people. You hear that, Jiffy?
Yeah, thank you. I'm a brave boy.
Pat the chat, Marissa says, show us. Also, Marissa, I'm not drawing. Benny Karen says, how does Marissa know the definition of binary she's using is correct? Couldn't it be wrong? Indeed. And then Eric said the correct DOI. Humphrey Pushcart says the shamans of Lake Titicaca weep at Marissa's grotesque misunderstanding of everything. Virillion says, has Marissa compared the spectroscopy between the sonar luminescence and the sun? So sonoluminescence, right? Just to say sonoluminescence somehow magically solves all problems, doesn't it? The rabbit says, hypothetically, if the world was pizza flat, wouldn't the sun project light across the earth 24 hours a day since there would be nothing to block the light? Absolutely, the rabbit. That right there is how you debunk flat earth. So if you've ever heard a flat earthers say, because they like to say this, I tried to debunk flat earth and I just couldn't. That does it right there. The sun could never set. Doesn't matter how far away it is. It has to be some large distance above the earth. Because when you are on the earth, and the point on the earth where sun is directly up, right? So on the equator during the equinoxes, you look straight up, there's the sun. Is it 1 mile above you? No. Is it 10? No. It's many. The only way that the flat earth sun could be anything is it would have to be significantly far above you, because the people on the equator on the day of the equinox looking straight up when the sun is overhead, They're not just getting roasted by it. They're not getting touched and crushed by it. It's still for them far, far away. So the sun must be a significant elevation above flat Earth, but the sun never sets. It can't work. It doesn't work. Man Devil, I'm pretty sure Marisa is an actor using your platform to rehearse for her role in a stage production of Misery. I wish. I wish. Patrick Butler. WTF is she actually talking about? I'm impressed. From the person who brings up water mountains. That's quite something there, Patrick. If you're not familiar with Patrick Butler, he's a flat earther that coined the phrase water mountains, to my knowledge. So that's what he says obstructs things bottom up on flat Earth. The grumpy old mechanic says, why does every university library have hundreds of feet of shelf space devoted to astronomy and geophysics journals? Why need all of those things when Marisa can just declare, out of her own fantasy world, just declare that Sirius is the only binary star? All of those many, many feet and centuries of astronomy research are completely gone because Marisa said so. That's it. That's all you get. Lord, I love this. Lord Illuminous Pooh earlier called Marisa a potato, and then she's like, in a debate, if you have to insult, then you've lost already. And Lord Illuminous Pooh comes back and says, I'm not debating you, you potato. I love that. It's so good. Such a comeback. Mr. X, so X, Mr. X0, or just Mr. Zero, says, can we get a new shirt with her catchphrase? I don't care. Dash crazy eyes. Also, can we send someone to do a well check on her, like for reals? BBC, better be careful. Yeah, my guess is she does have cameras. Yeah. Totally nuts. Many Karen says, Marisa, if you have 2 grapes on one branch and 3 on another, did the first branch stop being a binary because the other branch exists? Like her grape thing. That was crazy. Leo the Alchemist. Hey, that'll be something I'll cover. Immoral Bob in the next stream here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do like some community like topics and updates and talk about FEFE and stuff in the next one. So as soon as I finish this, I just got to hit the bathroom and then we'll start the next one. War of 1971 says in War's first super chat ever, says Marisa flies to the grocery store on a broom. Oh no. Oh. She is, just for reference, she is handicapped. She was in a car accident. She's paralyzed. Her legs are paralyzed. So, and she said her eyes thing is a different issue. She says Graves' disease. I don't know what that is, but anyway, Plastic Citizen. But none of that explains the lack of this. Plastic Citizen says, in clear, specific, and descriptive terms, Marisa, can you please describe what your working model actually is? Your model only. And no, Plastic Citizen, she cannot.
I think that's what I was trying to get her to do.
Oh, yeah.
Explain her model, and she just wasn't in any great detail. She just said solar luminescence and Eye of Africa. Like, that doesn't explain your model.
Yeah. Then she talks about science, and you're like, okay, where's the science that says that the dome is sonoluminescence? Nothing. Where's it come from? Nothing. How's it held up? Nothing. Double rainbows. That doesn't help. Earthrise, she keeps saying Sirius. The star is Sirius. Yes. And a couple times I said Sirius as well. It is Sirius. Cirrus are clouds. Yes. I don't know why she would probably argue with anybody that is pronounced wrong, because she never makes mistake. Everything, right? How is Sirius the only? It doesn't matter. She's absolutely right. Springer News 1 says Marisa for misunderstanding 2023. Mr. Zero says, wow, this chick is literally insane. It's amazing. Yes, that's probably correct. War of 1971 with a second super chat comes in. Marisa, what's on the other side of the dome? If space doesn't exist, it can't be the firmament. Well, it's unknown, but that's where the sound came from. What sound? Who did it? How has the sound lasted for millennia? Oh no, wait. I need to somehow establish that the Earth is millennia old. But here, Toad in My Eyes says, I agree with Marisa. The universe has only existed since last Tuesday. This will correlate and be true regardless of when you read this comment. I thought for sure it was last Thursday. I'm going to need a citation for last Tuesday. Toads in My Eyes. Manny Karen, what medium is Marisa's sound traveling through to reach her bubble? Probably water, right? Because it's water. I always say it's water above. Water's above the dome. Industrial Nerd has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of wide open eyeballs. I have no idea what that's about. Manny Kieran says, Marisa's crazy proves infinite limits. Deus ex tomato. I like to say Deus ex tomato. It says, dropped a photo manip in your Discord. Enjoy. Oh my goodness. That might be something that we have to look at next stream. Definitely next stream.
So I just thought of something. Can I interrupt
Yes.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought of something. So the sololuminescence, like, it creates light within like a bubble of water. So how does she explain nighttime? Like, would the water come crashing down on us? Like, maybe next time, if there is a next time.
I don't. None of it makes sense. Right? Like she says it's sonoluminescence, but how long has it lasted? Why is it still here? Where did it come from? How did she science that? She obviously didn't science that. But she thinks it is. All right. Free Rebel 626 says, Flirfs remind me of the monkey in the Curious George stories. Oh, that's funny. Cretan Ball says, anyone who thinks that CC is more crazy than Marisa is as crazy as Marisa is. Yes. As far as the crazy scale, yes, Marisa is by far. I mean, there's nobody even close. But top left is different than crazy. The top left competition is being really ignorant of things and having high confidence in it. Right? She's crazy. She's definitely got those things, but it's a whole different type of angle to it. It's this crazy, just insane, nuts thing. She's truly, PhD Tony is correct. She's clinical. So Lord Illuminous Pooh says, to quote the greatest minds of our time, magnets, how do they work? That's absolutely. Miles Wilson says, I rarely view a Flirf video twice, but Marisa made delusional thinking entertaining. Next time, I am taking notes and bringing popcorn. Well, there is the previous one, so you can look at that one if you haven't watched that one already. Fa of the QTube family says he didn't insult Marisa, he insulted potatoes. It's awesome. Lael says, Toon, to be fair, we don't know the Earth is millennia old. I mean, the pyramids aren't evidence of that. So, all right, I could be, all right, let's look up the actual definition of millennia. Make sure I get the right on, let's see, Wiktionary. Millennia. Plural of millennium. Yeah, a period of time consisting of 1,000 years. But it's not a rigid, right? So the number 2, the period of 1,000 years during which Christ will reign on earth. Number 3, this is a period of universal happiness, peace, or prosperity. And then number 4, the year in which one period of 1,000 years ends and another begins, especially the year 2000. So there, yeah, 1,000 years is pretty consistent. So I don't know.
I want to make a Star Wars joke. Like if you have 1,000 Falcons, that's a Millennium Falcon.
It's true. And since Star Wars kind of gets time and distance a little messed up, I guess it works. Pat the chat says, unlike Clarissa, Marisa does not explain it all. Is that a Silence of the Lambs reference, you think? What do you think,
I
Jiffy?
think in Silence of the Lambs, I think her name's Clarice,
Oh yeah. What
not
is
Clarissa.
what is Pat the chat getting at?
I don't know. I think it's like some meme, like maybe from TikTok.
Oh, it's from the 90s show. It says Industrial Nerd.
Oh, never seen it.
I don't know. All right. Lord Luminous Pooh says pistol shrimp make sonoluminescence. Are they God? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's correct. All right. Well, I see that. Let's see. Where did Brianna Johnson? Hey, chat. Did Marisa smash the globe? Brianna, I've spoken with Sam. You will be excited to know that we have confirmed for next Tuesday, before the cosplay. For the cosplay. All right. I think I did get all of them. If I missed them, I missed one. I apologize. Hit me in the next stream. So I'm going to do this. But Jiffycones, thank you for bringing Marisa around. That was absolute insanity, as is usually the case with Marisa. Anything you want to say before we close up and move on to the after show?
Yeah, research Weenie Earth and chew the goo.
No goo chewing. Do not chew the goo. All right. Well, I'm not going to. I mean, other people can. So, all right. I'm going to prep this, and then some. So I like my outro. I have to prep. Even with the new computer, the new computer didn't solve it. It's the it's actually the hard drive, the way the hard drive works. So let me get this. Let me get it prepped here. There it is. There it is. All right. Got it ready. It's prepping. It's done. Everybody will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for coming along for the fun. See that it worked. All right. Jiffy, you can stick on.